Live from New York. I can't hear anything.
This guy.
It's the show I can't hear anything. Now I can.
There we go.
Dusty, I'm sorry.
Somebody wasn't ready.
This guy.
That's why.
Yesterday, you know what? I can't be mad. Yesterday, the same thing happened to me. I didn't even hit the table in time. You guys said I was on tilt.
You were on tilt.
Are you, maybe, you know, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. Are you a little nervous?
No.
Get a little nervous?
I'm not nervous at all. You are projecting.
I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the public reception on Friday.
Oh, my.
I think he's nervous. I'm used
beloved,
to people.
I'm beloved in Kansas City. If the good people of Kansas City would rather hear falsehoods, which I don't think they want to hear.
There you go.
Maybe I'll just go out here and be like, hey, you know what? We won the Super Bowl. Like, that's not what it's about. Hey, we were scoring touchdowns when Sirianni wasn't covered in Gatorade.
There we go. It's that. Honest to God, you think.
But did that happen
No,
or not?
but it happened. But you have emphasized it more. Tell me if this is fair, Brew, than literally the rest of the media combined. Wild's talking about that. That was a choice.
Hubs
that
feeds
was a
me.
choice.
Hubs feeds me.
Don't blame Hubs.
I don't think it's all Hubs.
Here's
Don't
what Hubs
blame
just said in my ear.
See, here we go.
Come to the show on Friday. The Royals are out of town. You can save $2.
See,
That's not nice.
You can't
Have a show, save $2. First hour, first things first. That's not me. Now, again,
see this
is there a chance we see another Eagles blowout? Or is that the moment that Mahomes decides to start playing for real? Super Bowl rematch, America's Game of the Week. Meanwhile, Cowboys-Giants. Is this the last call for Russ as a starter and for Dallas? Must win. And finally, it's the best segment of all of sports. The committee met deep into the night last night.
Yes.
Had some video poker on.
No, video poker.
Whatever it's called.
Televised poker.
Televised
and video
poker.
poker, not the same thing. Video poker, you sit at a bar at a casino and try to get free
Are you
drinks.
good at
going
that
for
or
Royal.
no?
I've never played a single hand of video.
What? You should.
No, that's not.
You've never played video poker and never seen Rounders? You should see Rounders. You should see it on the plane when we're going to Kansas City.
By the way, I checked my seating assignment. You and me
no.
right next
Hubs,
to each other.
please no.
It's true.
I'm going to drive. I will. We're starting
Nick
with
will be
American
yapping
Game.
in your
He can't do
ear
that again.
for the
He
whole
takes his socks
3
off
hours.
on the plane.
That's a lie.
He takes his
my
socks
God.
off.
Hold on.
And he crosses
I'm gonna
like
get
cannot
mad.
do that.
And he put his insole on my leg on accident while he was asleep.
Wait a second.
Did you really take
no,
your socks
you
off?
have to. I've never taken my socks
take
off
your
on a
shoes
plane.
off.
Take your shoes off.
Halfway
I
there.
do take my
Take my shoes off.
Guys,
You get
keep
to
your
a
shoes
certain
on the
age,
plane.
Okay, that's
although
fine.
Nick's
Let's get
younger
to
than
the
you.
show.
I take my shoes
But
off.
don't
too.
lie about me.
Keep your
get to
shoes
the-
on the
get to the
plane.
show.
We're not in your house.
Why are we doing this? Aren't you supposed to be doing a read? We're not usually
America's
on
Game of the
camera for
Week,
this.
Eagles and Arrowhead, Philly riding a 2-game win streak against Kansas City. Mahomes, here's an interesting thing, literally never lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Here's the current streak of didn't lose 3 straight, not current. Mahomes has the longest streak to start a career, and it is currently happening.
Yes.
The other 3 guys, Brady's got 300, Montana 178, Steve Young 137, then Mahomes. So history could be made Sunday at Arrowhead.
Wow.
So is that, and what are the chances the Eagles not only beat Mahomes, but repeat their blowout?
Okay, so it's obviously there's a chance the Eagles win. Like that, I think it'd be ridiculous for anyone to guarantee a win for either of these teams. You know, I think these are 2 good teams, neither of which probably feel great. Obviously, the Chiefs don't feel great, but I don't think the Eagles feel great about how they opened their season.
Yeah.
And so the game is, I don't think it's a coin flip, but it is, you could make a reasonable argument on either side. But there is no argument for the Chiefs getting blown out. You just showed it. He started 134 games.
Yeah.
Forget blown out. He has been beaten by more than a touchdown 6 times. And, like, you can go through it. The only ones that kind of came in bunches was week 5 against Buffalo. They lost by 18. And then the single oddest game of Mahomes' career, a 27-3 loss to Tennessee that dropped them to 3-4 after the Super Bowl blowout. And the sky was falling in Kansas City, and they did end up having their worst season since Mahomes has been there. They only made it to overtime in the AFC Championship game that year. And so the Kansas City got blown out for a litany of reasons in the Super Bowl, but the biggest one was the Eagles could consistently create pressure without bringing a blitz.
Yeah.
He was blitzed the fewest times ever in his career, 0, and sacked the most times ever in his career, 6. This Eagles team, I don't believe at this moment can do that. And I think this Chiefs offensive line is in better shape than it was in the Super Bowl. I know they don't have Joe Thuney, but in the Super Bowl they didn't really have Joe Thuney because he was playing out of position. And so Jawan Taylor is an odd player to discuss because his penalties are crippling. The plays in which he does not commit false starts or get illegal formation, he's a very good blocker. You know what I mean? So, like, it doesn't lead typically to the sacks. So I think it would be silly to anticipate something that happens once every 20 games to Mahomes in his career to happen that quickly in succession. And by the way, blown out, he hasn't been blown out 6 times. He's been blown out 4 times. He's lost by more than 7 points 6 times.
Yeah, I certainly don't see what happened in the Super Bowl repeating itself. I mean, what was that, 37-0 or 34?
34.
34-0.
No, it was 34-0 to start.
I don't see that. I could see a 14-point win, and that, which is technically a blowout,
That's a blowout.
I wouldn't see it. I don't mean it would be just a rout, but I could see Philadelphia winning comfortably. I do think they're the better team. They've beaten the Chiefs, 2 straight games? This obviously would be 3 straight. And I think you made some good points. But without Xavier Worthy, assuming he doesn't play.
He's definitely not. I'll go ahead and report he's not playing this week.
All right, I don't think without him that they'll be able to exploit what is a weakness for the Eagles. Now, you're right. If they don't get any pass rush and Jalen Carter back, I know he's not, he's interior lineman, he's not a ton of sacks, but he should put pressure on Mahomes.
But that's
if
where
he
the
can't
Chiefs'
do
best
that,
2 offensive linemen are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If he can't do that, I still don't think the Chiefs will just exploit that defensive backfield of Philly without Xavier Worthy. All right, it might be some quick pass, dink and dunk, a lot of stuff underneath. And then I think Mahomes also has not played well. I mean, for him, has not played well against Philadelphia. The last 2 games, here's a graphic of his last 2 games against the Eagles. 0-2, 81 passer rating, 60% completions, 5 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. And those numbers are much better because of what happened late in the Super Bowl. If you cut it off at, the third quarter, it would have been much worse. Those are his worst numbers, at least the record, obviously. But the completion percentage against any opponent that they've played 2 or more times.
Can I ask a question about the 2-game losing streak piece? Mm-hmm. Because this is something I mentioned to Wilds in his office, and I do think it's relevant to this discussion. How much weight at all should we put in the first game of the 2-game losing streak when we realize that Eagles team, that was their last game before the supernatural funk.
Right.
It was 2 defensive coordinators ago. It was an entire starting defense ago. Like all those guys, you know what I mean? And so
I think Chiefs, a lot personally. Because you still got Sirianni, you still got Jalen Hurts. And they went into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs.
But
like that, the Chiefs have been so good and so unbeatable for the most part that anytime a team can beat them regularly, that's why the Bengals still roll. Joe Burrow still gets credit for beating the Chiefs in the playoffs because we hardly ever see it.
No,
that's why I think it's still relevant.
So I think it's relevant to the Eagles' chances in the game. But when you show Mahomes' struggles, to me, have nothing to do with Jalen Hurts and nothing to do with Sirianni. Like you showing Mahomes' numbers. And so I think the Super Bowl is super relevant. Same defensive coordinator, a lot of the same defensive players. The Chiefs are very similar. The other Eagles win was, as far as a timeline goes, far closer to them losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl than it was to today. You know what I mean? It was the 20.
Yeah, but he didn't play well against them in a game that was in the balance. When usually
that was the game MVS had the drop at the end and they freaked out.
Nothing, but a little bit of something. I wanted to get your take on my take, in general take, that it doesn't feel like the Chiefs are perfectly aligned. A little bit of Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy getting their lines
And you saw
crossed,
Kelce on that today.
And Kelce said it was his fault.
Yeah.
Okay. And then at the end, Chris Jones and Drew Tranquill kind of jawing at each other for what was maybe hero ball. But here was Gronk and Kay Adams, and here was what Gronk thought about sort of the vibe in Kansas City. Take a listen.
I feel like a lot of teams last year had that fear. Oh, I can't swing on the Chiefs. We can't give them our best shot. The Philadelphia Eagles punched them in the face. The Chiefs didn't know how to react to that because no one else was doing that. Well, going into this year now, the Los Angeles Chargers punched them in the face. The Chiefs were like, whoa, they're coming at us. How do we react? Well, they didn't know how to react because no one was doing that before. So the Philadelphia Eagles opened that floodgate of, hey, if you punch these guys in the face, you take it to them, you come out swinging, they're going to fold.
Similar to what Brew was saying pre-Super Bowl.
Well, the mystique?
That the mystique was off, but Gronk is your poker buddy.
No, I love Gronk. I just think this is where sometimes Chiefs conversations are difficult for me because I just remember every individual moment of the last 7 years better than I think most people because it's my team and this is my job. Like, this was the exact conversation post-Tampa Bay Super Bowl. And by the way, that team started off that year 3-4. That team got blown out by Buffalo, and then that Tennessee game was that year. They then, after that Titans game, when they were 3-4 and had lost 5 of their last 8, including in 3 blowouts, ripped off 10 of their next 11, made it back to the AFC Championship game, lost in overtime, and then made it to the next 3 Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. So like and I also feel like the conversation around the Chiefs last season was the mystique is, you know what I mean? Where
I felt like at least my conversation last year was that their mystique is helping them win these games.
Okay, all right.
I agree with Gronk.
I thought people were saying they're not afraid of him anymore.
I thought the fact that they were still somehow winning just increased their mystique. Look, I don't necessarily agree with the punching. The Chiefs have had battles. You know, they've been punched in the mouth and responded and all that. So I don't agree with that. But I do agree with the mystique lessening. Like, the Chargers still, I mean, they came out there. The fact that they threw the ball so much, that was really interesting to me. And that I just felt like the Chargers. Now, Harbaugh has never been afraid of the Chiefs. Obviously, he's talked this stuff that we're going to win multiple Super Bowls and all that. But I just think what Philly did to them in the Super Bowl, what the Chargers just did to them, if the Eagles aren't afraid of them, clearly, if they beat them handily, then I think that mystique really might be gone.
I would like to, we usually do this off the air. I will do it on the air. I would like tomorrow us to do the flip side of this topic. An Eagles team that did not look, in my opinion, the way they hoped they would in week 1. Sure. If they lose to the Chiefs when the Chiefs don't have Rice or Worthy and they have a suspended player who's actually not suspended, so they are full strength, you know what I mean? What concern do we have for Philadelphia? Because I think that is, if Philly was without Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you know, and they won, and the Chiefs full strength, and they won that game, we would say that is even if the Chiefs were 1-0 going into it, a massive concern for Kansas City. Question. And so I think that's a fair.
I think the difference, though, Nick,
is they're the champs. I mean, they're the defending champs.
But you're looking at it like there's a double standard, and you're right. The Chiefs are judged by a different standard than everybody else. Even though the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, they haven't had a dynasty. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Yep. They don't have the best quarterback we've ever seen. So somebody that's in the GOAT conversation. So I think there is there is a double standard.
It's good, though. I think we should do it.
No, that's fine.
Dusty, put that in the rundown for tomorrow. A little game of hypothetical now. If the Eagles do win, and if Jalen Hurts, who is currently 2-2 against Mahomes, wins a game, what would that mean? So here is the list of quarterbacks with the best record against Patrick Mahomes, who we have described as the benchmark for excellence in the NFL. Burrow is 3-2. Tom Brady, thank you for putting him in a Patriots uniform, 3-3. Jalen Hurts, 2-2. Could be 3-3 on.
Could be 3-2. Can't be 3-3.
Could be 3-2 by Sunday night. So I know you guys are mad at me because you want me to ask the question and answer it.
Yeah, you answer
I think it's an
it.
interesting question.
No, but hold on. The reason it's interesting is because yesterday you on the air flirted with, and then as soon as we went to commercial, made the commitment to the take of, if he wins, he's better. And so I'm asking you now, what do you think it would mean? And then I will give my answer.
I think if Jalen Hurts wins this game, it will be time to start talking about Jalen Hurts being the best quarterback in the NFL. It's time to have that conversation.
Okay.
When you can only win so many games in a row. I believe he's won, Josh, is it 15? He won 15.
If you take out the concussion game, it's 15
So he's won 15 straight games, including the Super Bowl. He's on the graphic that we joke around about, but he's on the graphic with all-time greats. If you view the goal as to win the game by any means necessary, if he beats Mahomes and is now on another list, and it's not like, he's winning these games without great performances against Mahomes. He performs great against Mahomes, the same way Burrow does. Then he belongs in the conversation of, is this guy the best quarterback in the NFL? I'm not saying it's without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not saying I'm too He's got to be in the conversation with Lamar, Josh.
It's a definitive top 5.
And then you're in. Let's kick it around.
And certainly, if the schedule had broken to where they weren't playing in the regular season, but this was this year's Super Bowl, and he won it, it would even more cement your
Yes.
So the question I have is this, because my life would have been better if I knew you 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but I didn't, sadly. Did you ever feel, truly, that Eli Manning was better than Tom Brady?
No.
So Eli Manning was on a 3-game winning streak against Brady where he outplayed him in all the games. 2 of those were the Super Bowl. We can show you those games.
MVP.
In none of those games, certainly not in 2007, did people feel like Eli had the better team. They were 2 touchdown underdogs. And I think the reason you didn't feel that way was because, yes, and by the way, Brady wasn't 1 year removed from winning a Super Bowl. He was 8 years removed from winning a Super Bowl when they walked off the field in 2011. And the reason you didn't feel like he was better was not only just because of how you felt, but because their career resumes were not at all similar. And we can show them to you, it was 5-2 and 3-2, MVPs 2-0, Super Bowl MVPs even, Pro Bowl 7-2, first team All-Pros 2-0. So to which I would say, if Jalen Hurts and beats Patrick tomorrow, here's what their career resumes look like. He will have lost to him in 1 Super Bowl and beat him in 1. Patrick has the same or better than Brady in every single category, and Jalen has the same or worse than Eli in every single category. So why? Why is it that when it was your guy and Tom Brady, it was a ludicrous question, and now when it's Jalen Hurts, it is, I'm just asking the question?
You think that's for me?
You want to wave the white flag?
I want to do the exact opposite.
Oh, wow.
I just set a nice little trap that you guys walked into.
I haven't walked into
Because there's a lot of lists out there. Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. Jalen Hurts is number 13.
Whose list?
I don't know, lists that I've seen. That Jalen Hurts is the third. Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl on the ESPN list and is listed as the 39th best player. Is it Steven Ruiz?
Steven Ruiz's quarterback list. But
he wasn't top 10. That's all. I am not saying he is definitively better than Patrick Mahomes. I said we need to have a conversation about it. And if you were making a graphic and saying, hey, let's talk. Exactly right. What you just did, exactly.
Hold on.
Let's have a conversation about him being the best quarterback.
I have to tell you, Steven Ruiz does a great podcast.
Yeah.
He's a pal of mine.
Yeah.
I can get you a guest spot on it if you want to argue with him about his Jalen Hurts take. If you want to
you're arguing me about Eli Manning. I didn't even mention Eli Manning.
No. I'm asking you. So here's the thing.
So you said who does it, and I told you.
No.
Correct? Is that what just happened?
Yeah.
I said he's not. I said people have not top 10. You said who?
I
answered.
Okay.
And then you're like,
No. But you just said that if he wins this game, there needs to be a discussion. Is he the best quarterback in football?
Yes.
I then asked you, when Eli did what you're talking about, except it was in 2 Super Bowls that he won both and outplayed Brady in both, you would not have that discussion then.
Correct.
So why?
Because I'm not interested in talking about Eli Manning versus Tom Brady right now.
No,
to be 100% honest, I'm in this lane, and you're trying to take me on an exit ramp to Tom Brady and Eli Manning.
I'm asking, Bruce, I
want to be in top 5.
I'm saying
is he the best?
Why is the standard now different than it was for your?
I don't think Eli Manning and Jalen Hurts are comparable players.
Why?
I think one is insanely mobile. I think one guy won half his games and one guy's won 70% of his games. I think they're totally different players.
But of course they're different players, but your whole thing is, does he leave the field with the trophy?
Does he do that in the regular season? Has Eli Manning ever put a string together of 16 straight wins?
No.
No. Is Eli Manning a immobile quarterback?
Well,
yes.
He was, yes.
Eli
was
Joe
500 in the regular season.
And Jalen. I just don't think they're comparable. And I'm also not interested in having that conversation. I'm interested in having the conversation of, if he wins on Sunday, we need to have a conversation of who's the best quarterback. Everybody can have a representative at the table. Jalen Hurts needs to be at the table. He can't be excluded from it anymore, like everyone wants to put him, like Justin Herbert's in the conversation.
Oh, I don't think Herbert's in the conversation.
Should Jalen Hurts be in the conversation?
For the best quarterback in the NFL, no.
Look, I hear you in that Hurts is
to be in the top 5, yes,
much better than Eli was.
To be in the best.
Well, no.
To answer your question, because it could become relevant, those graphics you threw up with Eli and Brady could become relevant if Jalen wins the Super Bowl. If he wins this game, no, I still don't think he's in the discussion for best quarterback in the league. I think the path for him to get there is to win this Super Bowl. Not 2 years from now, maybe then, but for him to get there, he has to win this Super Bowl and be the Super Bowl MVP. Now,
well, I don't know that he has to be Super Bowl MVP, but if they win the Super Bowl,
we're talking about an individual thing to say he's better. But say if he wins the Super Bowl, I would still not say he's better historically than Mahomes. But now, in this moment, Tom Brady was not the best quarterback every single year or even stretches of his career. I think we would be in a stretch where it would be fair then to say, Mahomes is in the GOAT conversation or whatever. Right now, Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback.
I kind of view it like that. I kind of view it like a heavyweight championship belt.
And so
you might be a better boxer. Yeah. We could be in the same generation. But he's got the belt.
No, I think if they win the Super Bowl this year, and I don't think he has to win the Super Bowl MVP, that to me is what you can gain by becoming the 3rd back-to-back Super Bowl champion of this century versus what you can gain Sunday, September 14th are, to me, drastically different things. I think your frustration with me is, I think you think that I think he's ineligible for it. And I don't think he's ineligible for it.
Okay.
But I think that there is nothing he can do this month or next month that's going to make me, if you put me on a lie detector, say he's better than Josh Allen, much less Patrick Mahomes.
My issue, and I'll turn it to you, bro. My issue is when he would be the best? If he got to the Super Bowl and won it again. Which to me sounds unfair, and granted Josh and Lamar have MVPs, which I respect. But those guys can collectively go to 0, but Jalen Hurts has to go to 3 just to get in the conversation.
Well, I think,
and I know they put up great individual numbers.
That's a big part of it. I mean,
I know, but it just feels unfair. It's like you got to go to 3 Super Bowls, and then we can start talking about it.
Go ahead, Brew.
A lot of that depends on what you do in the regular season. Like, even in the NBA, if your regular season numbers aren't fantastic, you're never in the MVP discussion, you win the finals, people aren't going to say you're the best player in the world.
What about Jimmy Butler?
Right.
If Jimmy Butler had won whatever the last finals he was in, against Denver, was it? You know what I mean? And it's like, listen, I'm not ready to call him best player in the world. But if they go back-to-back, I will. And it's like, hold on a second.
Right.
Like, why is he ahead of... And so,
real quickly, too, Wilds, we have to admit, I mean, as much as we give the quarterbacks all the credit, it's a team game, and Jalen's team is much better surrounding him. He's got the better receivers. When you're talking about Mahomes.
Right now.
Better offensive line, better running game. Defense, you can argue.
Right now, they have the better roster.
He's got the far, offensively, he's got far more support.
And so I'm going to give you
I think you got to look at that, too.
But I do think Jalen is. You don't
think he's got far more?
I do. I don't think as good as the Ravens.
I agree, and that's something that Lamar is going to have to answer for because he's got tons of talent around.
I mean, I actually disagree, but that's fine. Saquon and Derrick Henry are a coin flip, and I would take the Eagles every other spot on offense. Certainly receiver, certainly offensive line. You know what I mean? So but that's sidebar. Brew has used the Terry Bradshaw comp, which I understand, but I've never fully subscribed to. I will use, and this is a compliment, the Russell Wilson comp. Because had he not thrown that interception, had they won that Super Bowl, that would have been enough for people to be like, you know what? I can't quite explain it.
No, he was great.
But that guy, he's been here in the league 3 years. He's won 2 Super Bowls. Like this one, he played Brady. You know what I mean? Outdueled him.
But was anybody going to say at that point he's the best quarterback
I think
in the league?
had they won, he would have been in the discussion like you want Jalen Hurts to be.
Yes.
And I'm saying, but it wasn't.
See how that
but it would not
out.
have been that year. I don't know their schedule. If they had beaten, Peyton again in the regular season, it's like, okay, well, he beat him in the Super Bowl, he beat him in the regular season. That wasn't enough.
The stakes
that part's fair.
for America's Game of the Week. We just did a great job there.
Stakes are high.
Coming up, must win for the Cowboys and Russell Wilson. Back-to-back segments. Next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM. Friday, first things first, live from the Power and Light District, 3 to 6 Eastern, 2 to 5 Kansas City time. We are looking for Eagles fans. And then on Sunday, not only will the game be decided, will Mahomes lose his spot as the best quarterback in the NFL? Some people say yes.
Some people.
See,
one person.
I like how during that segment, Brew waved a white flag for you, and then you tried to end it with Brew. You agree with me, right?
No, I just want to have the conversation. If we're having the conversation that you know what,
you feel
Cincinnati
like you're moving the Overton
belongs
window?
in one of the world's greatest cities, and you put up a full screen of Cincinnati and Paris. If I'm the mayor of Cincinnati, I'm like, heck yeah. That's what I'm saying. Did it. Must win Wednesday. It's week 2, but it's getting late early. Is it a long season, or is it already a must win? First up, 0-1 Giants in Dallas. Both teams looking for their first win. Bodes well for the Cowboys. Dak currently has 13 straight wins against the G-Men. Brady is on every graphic. And Steve Young.
Steve Young's
the most underrated quarterback in NFL history. Well, maybe to Patrick Mahomes, but these days. But yeah, Steve Young certainly had been.
Brew, this is open-ended. Must win? This is scored, by the way, Greg. Brew is the reigning. No, you're the reigning champion.
Wait, I think I'm the.
What's this in our ears? What is this?
Yeah, what is it? Wow. No, I know what that means. It's shocking that it's coming so early in the season. This is not the rare double must win. I've gone there before.
Yeah.
That's rare.
That was.
This is the extremely rare must win and a half. Here's why. It's a must win for the Cowboys. We all know why, right? You got a lot of moment. They got a moral victory. I know people don't want to claim it as a moral victory. Yeah. They got a moral victory, so the vibes are great in Dallas right now, even though they lost to Philadelphia. If they lose to the hapless New York Giants, hapless, they're the worst team in the division outside of the Cowboys, then they lose all of those vibes.
Yeah.
They lose all of it. So we know why it's a must-win for the Cowboys. And they're at home. You can't lose that game. But it is also, the half comes in here. It is also a must-win for Russell Wilson. And since he's an individual player, it's only a half. So it's not the double.
That's why you played the
I don't make up the rules. That's just how, when you haven't heard it before because it's almost unprecedented. All right? And so Russ, this could be the last start of his career. If he could get benched at halftime if it goes south.
At half, that'd be half.
So it is the rare. I don't know if you guys understand the gravity of this. Have you ever seen a must-win and a half?
Really, bro. I'm just telling you, you're really here's the other thing that happened. Greg threw out his IMDb resume yesterday on the table, and Brew tried to take his corners back as the actor on the show with the "What's that? What? Oh!" And I'm just saying, I think it threw you off. I just think Greg has your own.
I'm not here to make I'm not trying to get style points.
Oh.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Okay,
I'm gonna say
it's a must-win.
I'm gonna say what you probably should have said, which it's a double must-win. Simple. It's a double must-win. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they don't lose to this team. With or without Dak. We saw Dak up there, but this team doesn't lose to the New York Giants. And we saw what the vibes were. We had no expectation of this Dallas Cowboy team. Once we saw Micah was gone and departed, oh, you know what? Chalk it up. You're not making the playoffs. You're not going to even probably be competitive Thursday when we see you for the first time. You know what? They were. Now we're kind of like, can Dak actually do something with this team? You can't follow that up with a loss against the Giants. And on the flip side, it's a must-win for the Giants. When you look at just Brian Daboll is sitting there already with quarterback controversy and indecision right there in front of him because of your quarterback that you're talking about a half a win, because of Russell Wilson. And you look at this team, they were 0-6 in the division last year. They haven't won a division game since 2023. You look at your schedule, and the next week you got Kansas City Chiefs. Then you got the Chargers, and you're like, when is this team gonna get a win? I know you got the Saints. You're hoping that you'll be able to beat the Saints, but then you continue to look at the schedule, and you're like, well, will they even win a game?
Okay.
Oh my God.
You guys are sadly, I would love to support you. But sadly, you guys are both wrong for including the Giants in this because the Giants season does not start until Jackson Dart takes the field. Brian Daboll's job will be determined by how Jackson Dart looks. So it is only about the Cowboys, and it is not a must-win for the Cowboys. It is a must-dominate for the Cowboys. The only way to turn the momentum from whatever momentum you could have gotten from a loss in week 1 to the Eagles, because, like Bruce said, moral victory, was if you show that offensive performance that you showed flashes of is for real, that their running game is for real, that their offensive line against this defensive front is for real, and CeeDee Lamb can redeem himself. So the Cowboys winning 24-21 doesn't do a lot of good for them. The Cowboys winning 31-10 makes you like, oh, could have beaten Philly if CD catches the ball, annihilate the Giants. It's a must dominate for Dallas. Thank you for the point, KW.
I hate to break it to you guys.
Oh, he backed up what I said. He put Russell Wilson on the hot seat.
Brew, the world put Russell Wilson.
Greg, you were like the Eagles without Micah. You saw an opening, you're like, I'm going to waltz to victory here. And then you had the schedule up. You're like, they're going to go 0-17.
He blew it with the 0-17. If you had the point at that point, that's when you lost.
I didn't say they were going to
You're like,
we're not going to get to the other ones.
You got the Saints beat.
And guys, you got to go a lot faster on these last
Brew's
three.
doing bits. Greg, you're up next, week 2.
But effort. I thought the judge would respect
Jags in Cincinnati. Now, this is the opposite. Both of these teams are 1-0. Joe Burrow's explosive offense gained 7 yards in that second half of week 1. But Burrow is great outside of his division. Against his division opponents, 7-9. Non-division opponents, 20-8, 60 touchdowns, and only 14 interceptions. Is this a must-win for Joe Burrow?
Yeah, this is a must-win for Joe Burrow. This is a must-win for the team, for that offense. When we think about this team, we simply think about them offensively. We don't even think about, what they'll look like defensively. But what they did not look like last week was a great, dominant offensive unit. With quarterback Joe Burrow at the helm and these 2 great receivers that are now both under contract, we saw none of that pop like we were talking about prior to the season starting. And so now you got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a win against the Carolina Panthers. You feel like your offense at home has to make some type of noise. Despite what your defense may look like, offensively, it better look good and you got to get a win.
I know the judge is unlikely to reward me for this, but it is absolutely not a must-win because the Jags are a legitimately good team. And
you couldn't go against the Jags like that.
No, I'm saying it is only being put as a must-win because it's like, oh man, you looked bad against Cleveland, and then what if you lose to Jacksonville? Well, about 11 teams are going to lose to Jacksonville this year. So that's not going to, I guess not 11 teams because they're going to beat some teams twice, most notably probably the Titans. And so no, it's not a must-win for the Bengals. It is noteworthy to me, however, that in Greg's summer allegory he was painting, where he is the Bengals offense and I am the Bengals defense, and where we know he's going to fight and I didn't. Hey, buddy, I prevented you from getting your ass kicked on Sunday. You better thank me. I was letting you know right now.
Good callback.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I didn't count on getting this point, but I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely a must-win. I said it with gusto. Greg danced. Joe Burrow, it's a must-win. Nick was just flat out wrong. It's an absolute must-win. They are already feeling terrible in Cincinnati. Terrible. Yeah. All right? But the thing that makes it feel a little better is at least we won. At least we won. And I know Nick's talking all that jazz about the Jags being good. They but still, that's not a good team. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence didn't light it up. What did he throw for a 74 passer rating against Carolina?
They dominated
Carolina. You lose to that Jags team. All right? Now, all that stuff in the offseason. We gotta start out fresh. We gotta start out strong. It is right there for you on a platter. All right, you can be 2-0, but you lose to the Jags, and now you're 1-1, which is better than normal.
I said the same thing, bro. Thanks.
No, I'm just saying. I said it with my chest.
You got it.
Greg up there dancing around it.
You got it.
Man, you gotta say it with some.
Bro, you might be better in like a looser offense. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like Mahomes. I'm Mahomes. I'm backyard football. I make it happen.
Like you're
but I'm on schedule.
Like otherwise,
you're more like good on schedule.
You're like,
more
then
like
ring the
Caleb.
bell. I don't know if that's gonna work. Next up, Patriots in Miami. Ugh. Battle in the AFC basement. Pass defense is week 1. Not good. Diced up by Geno and Daniel Jones, who is good. Both completed over 70% of their throws.
Geno had 9 20-yard completions.
I thought that was a mistake.
Geno is chucking that thing downfield, man.
Wow.
Some of them wide open.
That is impressive.
That's why he got a lot of yards. All right, several huge plays.
Yeah.
Is this this is just must-win, question mark.
Oh, it's a must-win for not only the Patriots, but the Patriots media consortium, led by Kevin Wildes, Bill Simmons, my pal Greg Rosenthal, all of whom all offseason talked about Drake May like, oh, he's a known quantity. Like we got the quarterback. Travion Henderson, did you see his kick return in early August?
Well,
that position's fixed for sure. Offensive coordinator, have you not seen Josh McDaniels, in high definition? Not really. And obviously, everything that went wrong last year is Mike Vrabel's fault. Gerard Mayo's fault, and Mike Vrabel will fix it, even though some of those people loved Gerard Mayo and didn't want them to fire him. They were so convincing that otherwise level-headed folks were like, you know what? I think that team might be able to sneak into the playoffs. You lose to the Dolphins, whose coach is going to press conferences and literally being like, well, on the bright side, we're one day closer to death. I think you're in trouble. So, yeah, it's a must-win. Oh, no. See, we got it.
You know what? I knew something. He's like, I didn't plan on getting this point, but because he thinks this is a good bit. Oh, Greg, get ready, because this is going to bomb.
I'm shocked. At week 2, and we are already on 2 virtually unprecedented situations. You were close. You were like Greg. You did say it with your chest, but you didn't finish it. You didn't knock the guy out when you had him dazed and confused and on the ropes, all right? You are right. You almost stole my thunder. This is I've never seen this before. Okay. I've never seen this one before. It's hence the sirens. I can't even say rare. The unprecedented quadruple must-win.
Wow.
Quadruple. Nick was close.
Yeah, what is it?
So obviously a must-win for the Patriots.
1.
you missed it. It's a must-win for the Dolphins, too. The coach on the hot seat.
We've seen that
Best
before.
player might get traded.
Yep.
The quarterback's
true.
about to lose the locker room. And then you came close, the media. You two, 3 and 4. Quadruple
I thought it was
must
gonna
win.
be
Because
like
y'all picked the Patriots to make the playoffs.
Yes.
So, Nick, you were close. You almost stole my thunder. You need titles, though. You didn't call it anything. You just, the media, the people, the media, you know.
Oh, I like that.
Quadruple must
Quadruple must win. All right, Greg.
And you cannot lose. I got to finish.
Greg.
The Patriots cannot lose to the Rocksteady crew.
Again. What's a nice? Oh, and
They cannot
he
lose
really worked at
to
what
the
is this?
Rocksteady. That's the Rocksteady
This is
crew.
Rocksteady,
One some of the best breakdancers ever. Legendary. The Dolphins, who was it that said the Dolphins don't practice like us? This is how the Dolphins practice. Mike Vrabel's whole reputation is I'm rough and I'm tumble. All right, I'm rough and I'm tumble. You can't lose to this.
Greg.
You can't lose to that.
Man, I can't lose to that. Like, this is
You want to continue
He did
it?
work hard on
Yeah,
that.
he worked very hard, almost too much. Look, it's simple. This is a must-win for the Patriots.
Okay.
It's really simple. The NFL fandom world at large, outside of myself, watch what happened last week to the Dolphins. They saw Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts whoop. I'm talking about bend them over, pap, pap, whoop the Miami Dolphins. And now all of a sudden you got the Patriots coming, and we saw them get beat up. And hard hat lunch pail Mike Vrabel, man, we can't beat this squad. We just saw it. I don't care who you are, everybody in there.
Give me my points.
Everybody's thinking the same
Give me
thing.
my bonus
They just lost to
point.
Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. We can't
Dusty,
lose
this is the last one, or we have one more?
No, it's over.
That's the bonus one,
This
too.
is the money
This
ball.
ain't even
Greg,
close.
unfortunately,
What?
has stolen the
No,
game.
come what?
I just
What?
Okay.
There is no way. There is no way.
Coming up
Go to commercial, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
I had videos, photographs, sound effects.
The sound effects hurt
What
me more
the
than they help.
heck?
Who's under more pressure, Caleb or the entire Lions team next?
Oh my goodness.
You only won a point when you weren't supposed to. Bears at Lions, Detroit favored by almost 6. Sunday at 1 on Fox. Did the Lions miss their old offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, in Week 1's loss to the Packers? Well, here's Daniel Jeremiah's take.
It looked stale and static. It did not look creative. And it's 1 week, Buck. I don't want to overreact on the coaching side of things, but that was alarming what you saw from Detroit's offense.
Who's under more pressure here, Greg? Caleb or Jared Goff?
Well, it's definitely the Bears and Caleb. But I just want to address what Daniel Jeremiah said, because I didn't think it looked stale. I think we're going to all immediately gravitate to that because Ben Johnson is not the play caller. But when you can't establish the run up front, you can't get going with all what you have that stems off of the run game. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But this is Caleb, because we saw a really exciting first drive. And the stadium was rocking. You're watching at home, and you were like, okay, maybe Caleb's going to be something this year.
Yeah.
And then you saw the decline start to happen, especially in that second half. You saw the emotions start to take over, not only with Caleb, but even with Ben Johnson showing some frustration. And then if you're in that locker room and you're a receiver and you're in the perimeter position, you're looking like, man, am I going to be able to perform at my optimum best when this young man can't really get us the ball in situations that are really simplistic, like drop back situations? I just think they have bigger issues, and it stems at the most important position.
This is a tough one. At first glance, I thought the same as you. Like, it's definitely Caleb, no question. But then I looked at it and thought about it, and I almost said, nah, it's definitely Caleb when I noticed that Goff struggled in the first 2 games last year.
Yeah.
1 touchdown, 3 picks in his first 2 games. They lost to Tampa Bay and obviously came back, had a great year. But I think it's Goff, Greg, because he, and this has been going around, I'm not the one breaking this, but he's 3 17-1 without Sean McVay or Ben Johnson calling his plays. So obviously neither one of those guys call him now. If he struggles and they lose to a Chicago team that is reeling and the quarterback that's reeling in Caleb Williams, then I feel like there will be a feeling like this era, this window for the Lions is just about closed.
I think
so. I'm going with Goff.
So yeah, I think oddly, Caleb might at this point benefit from the opposite of what he dealt with last year, which is expectations now have been lowered to a degree where it's like, hey, incremental progress, look better week over week, look like the guy we wanted you to look like when we drafted you by November and like on the right track. Meanwhile, it's been a while, KW. It's a concern. It's a concern.
He drew a picture of a pumpkin.
Oh,
You don't have to write pumpkin mode.
Well, I didn't know if you'd be able to see what the picture was.
That is
I'm
not a good
artist.
pumpkin, by the way.
I did it on the fly. I'm just because
Pumpkin.
deep down. Here is the thing. Back in the recesses of your brain, if you're the player, but certainly in the fan's brain, if we've seen you go pumpkin once, we know it's possible. And Jared Goff was the #1 pick, had a bad rookie year. Sean McVay gets there, and oh my God, they've beaten the Chiefs 54-51 on Monday Night Football, one of the wildest games ever. They have the highest scoring offense. They're in the Super Bowl. And a few years later, they're in the playoffs, and Sean McVay's like, yeah, Goff is healthy enough to play, but I'm going to start the Wolfman instead. And then had to, like, we saw it, he was a distressed asset that was given away to Detroit with a first-round pick attached to him. Then he built himself back up again.
It was bad that first year.
Right, bad the first year and built himself back up to where it's like, oh my God, all of the lists last 3 years, 2 years quarterback stats, he's on them. But now, just a little worried. And if the Bears come out and
lost.
What? What do
because was he bad in the game against the Packers, or was their offense? Did their offense just look bad?
Both. He was bad too.
He was bad.
I mean, hold on.
31 of 30.
The one touch they couldn't move the ball down the field, and the one touchdown.
And that's on Jared Goff.
It's certainly partially. The one touchdown he had, which helped his numbers, was when the game was over.
Totally understand that. But when we look at this offensive unit, we don't automatically say, oh, man, if they can't pass the ball, they're in trouble. No, if they can't run the ball, they're in trouble.
Agreed.
But I mean, he's supposed to be able to rectify that.
Yeah, I mean, he got paid like that. They have great weapons.
Wow.
I'm just
Great
saying.
receivers.
I'm just saying he was. If you're saying now he's just a bus rider, that's fine. But that's not. We were talking about
Is that what
golf.
you're saying? He's just a passenger?
I'm just saying, can we watch football and understand what teams do?
Greg is still. Guys, give Greg some space after the must-win segment, okay?
Well, he won
Give him some
somehow.
space. Just,
he got a gift.
I know, but he doesn't feel like he's fired up. Live from New York. It's the show that hopes that Brock Purdy heals up, but is ready for the Mac Jones start in New Orleans. News out of San Francisco that it's a long shot that Purdy starts.
Yeah. I hope Mac goes and gets the W.
This show will be on fire. This Sunday, Mac Jones wins, and a good game from Jalen Hurts.
Again.
If he beats the Saints, you're going to go through the roof?
Again.
Yes, if he wins an NFL game as a starting quarterback.
Can I tell you guys
He made
something?
the playoffs.
On Monday's
He's a Pro
show,
Bowler.
I do not think there is anything that could happen in a Mac Jones Spencer Rattler start where it should make the show.
Well, look at the chart that says, are the 49ers a popular team or not? I don't know.
I'm surprised you would say that. I'm glad.
I mean, maybe Tuesday, like in the games we missed, but I'm telling you,
if he goes out there and throws for 300
again,
in a win,
it's
I
Mac
bet you
Jones,
don't want to
Spencer Rattler, 20 hours after the Chiefs play the Eagles.
The San Francisco 49ers?
Again, buddy.
Look, I'm not going to let you just dismiss Mac like that. Mac was a Pro Bowler.
See, Brew has to build
the
Mac
team
up
to the
now
playoffs.
in case he looks good.
Today, are we expecting a huge bounce-back game from A.J. Brown against the Chiefs? We'll hear from Super Bowl champion Greg Jennings. Greg, have you ever been shut out in a game?
I have, actually.
Frozen out, really?
Bengals, really by my own offense.
Okay, we're going to discuss it. Meanwhile, Pat Freiermuth of the Steelers. He caught Aaron Rodgers' first pass, and now he joins the show to talk about all things Steelers and their big victory over the Jets. But right now, you're in for a real treat. Last night, in the dry-aged freezer, where they keep the dry-aged steaks at Mahomes and Kelsey's Steakhouse, an elite group of savants, analysts, and Kansas City's own Eric Stonestreet fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports media. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for Nick's Tears.
Thank you, as always,
I'm
for
excited
the introduction, Kevin Wildes. And since you mentioned him, congrats on Eric Stonestreet on his nuptials this
Getting
week.
married, I heard that.
Yeah, got married.
Oh, got married?
Yeah, got married.
Oh.
Yeah. I hope I don't have that wrong. I don't think it was engaged. I think it was married. Either way, congrats to friend of the show, Eric Stonestreet, who was a part of one of the most iconic moments in show history when we were at a Chiefs parade and we were short a mic, and our former producer told Kevin Wildes, his earpiece, take off your headset and give it to Stonestreet while just standing there. It's a moment. Stonestreet's the best. Congrats to him. We hope to see him Friday when we're in Kansas City. And folks in Kansas City, when you see where the Chiefs are on these tiers, just remember, it's a committee.
Exactly.
It's a committee. You don't have to worry about them being at the bottom, however. Bottom group, 6 teams, bad ball. Like, just the Giants, Russell Wilson again running like it's 2013. He's going to get in the end zone, fumble inside the 5. The Browns missing 2 extra point in a field goal in a game they should have won. Everything the Panthers did. Everything Bill Callahan had anything to do with. The Saints actually wasn't such bad balls as they don't have a ton of talent. And the Dolphins, everything was bad. It's bad ball. Greg, be understanding here. What did we see? So here is the point that I'm making. The Colts were dominant. Is that about the Colts or the Dolphins that bad?
Good question.
The Seahawks defense looked pretty good for long stretches of that game. Is that because Mike McDonald in year 2, that defense is going to cook, or the Niners with the injuries and all, like, what was it? The Cardinals hung on to a win against the Saints team, but are the Saints maybe better than we thought? So the Cardinals went like that. And the Jets defense, which is what they hang their hat on, got absolutely cooked. The offense looked great. What does that mean about the other side? I don't know how to evaluate those games until we know more about the teams that are playing. Listen, fair is fair. And I hate that my guy Caleb is on this list. But QB questions. For the Niners, Brew, it's injury question. The question isn't who Brock Purdy is. Honestly, we all know who Brock Purdy is. But the question is he hurt? Caleb, where are we going from here? Bo Nix, that was really bad. You know how I know it was bad? The Broncos didn't make the Monday herd. That's how I know it was bad. Colin would have loved to talk about that. He couldn't do it. And I like that Drake May's young and big and strong and seems to be an awesome brother and boyfriend and all of that stuff.
Husband, I think.
They're married now?
I think he got married too, because they donated their wedding gifts to charity.
Really?
He's a great guy.
Didn't he just turn 22?
Hey, man.
All right. But regardless, congrats in that regard. I just need him to play a little better. Better and not look to, I think, honest to God, I watched that Patriot game, and like the second snap of the game, Drake May's out there running, and I'm like, I think he's been watching Wildes' graphic, thinking he's Michael Vick or Randall Cunningham. It didn't work out.
The same thing.
You have our attention. Raiders, Steelers, Falcons, Cowboys. Now, I know the last 2 teams on this list lost, but I thought they looked good in the loss. The Falcons had a chance to tie it late. Younghoe Kuma's the kick. The Cowboys have a chance to steal it late. CeeDee Lamb drops the ball. Steelers scored 34. The Raiders go into New England and dominate that game, kind of on both sides of the ball. You have our attention. Playoffs? Sure. On the board, after week 1, even with those teams having losses. Ominous week 1. Lions. Offense doesn't look the same. Offensive line doesn't look the same. Jared Goff doesn't look the same. It's week 1. It's ominous. The Texans. We're going on a lot of weeks in a row where that offense is arduous. Can't move the ball. Like, it looks nothing like it did CJ's rookie year, and we're now into year 3. And the Bengals, I thought that was one of the worst wins by any team in the last couple years in the NFL. They got outplayed on offense, outplayed on defense, and it took the Browns really brownsing it up for them to win that game. They look the part. Now, these three teams are kind of cursed franchises. Like the Chargers, there's a whole word for chargering. The Jags, since Mark Brunell left, don't really have a lot of high moments. I know they made the one conference title game with Blake Bortles. And the Vikings are famous for 4 Super Bowl losses and gut-wrenching defeats. You know, whether it be the Gary Anderson missed kick, the Drew Brees game. So here, exactly. But those three teams in week 1 looked like pretty good in every facet. Well coached, solid defense, quarterback either played well throughout or played well, when it mattered most for the Vikings. Right now, those teams look the part. Contender-ish. I worry a bit about the Bucs, Washington, its defense. I worry a bit about the Rams' offensive line, but like all three coaches, love all three quarterbacks, really like all three teams' weapons. Those are the recipes to be, contender-ish, at least after week 1. Fair is fair. A bit rattled. The Chiefs and the Ravens.
That's why it's a committee.
Yeah, fair. The Chiefs, everyone's focused on Mahomes. I think that's lunacy. I don't think it's lunacy to be focused on, guys, are we going to have, what's the pass defense going to look like? If we can't get pressure without blitzing and our secondary can't hold up, at least right now, did Herbert jump another level, or is Herbert still just, a really good player, but is everyone going to carve up that defense like that? That's concerning. And for the Ravens, it's obvious. No lead is safe. And so it's got to be at least a little rattled. Gritty winners. Here's the thing. I do not think either one of these teams, as far as on both sides of the ball, played that well in the opening weekend. I thought that those teams, however, despite not playing their best ball, both of them, their quarterback was the best player on their team by a decent margin. For the Bills, by a huge margin. For the Eagles, though, in that game, by a decent margin. And they did enough to find a way to win. That's what championship-level teams do. You give them credit for it. And atop the tiers, for the first time in the history of the tiers.
Wow.
Week 1 champs, the Green Bay Packers.
It's a huge
it is very, very hard to poke a hole in anything they did in week 1, and the fact that they went out and acquired a superstar and he instantly looked like a superstar. Jordan Love didn't put the ball in jeopardy. You love all of that.
Not in.
Okay,
didn't catch it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He did put the ball in jeopardy. Let me.
But the way
you're right. Jordan Love didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it. I said it
Put
wrong.
it twice in a
Still,
row.
though, week 1 champs,
That's
Green
good.
Bay
Solid.
Packers.
I'll give you
Congratulations, Greg. I feel like that was a win for you, Greg.
fair.
I want to take it as a win, but I never really quite know. Sometimes it's a setup with Nick.
That's true.
I just. Exactly
First of
feels like
all, that hurts. Second of all, it doesn't matter even if it's true, if it's a setup with me or not. The committee's integrity has never been a question.
That's true.
The committee's accuracy.
I was on the committee and I left the committee.
Well,
I'll continue.
We can check the email chain, Greg, but the I resign email certainly came well after the we won't need your services next year.
That's
okay. Well, Gianna, we'll post it. Go ahead.
I got the Chargers. They did look the part. I like what you said about that, but they look more than just the part. They need to be moved up. When you talk about contender-ish, you might as well put the Chargers on that row, because when you make the Kansas City Chiefs, or you just handle the Kansas City Chiefs in the manner of which they did, and we talk about quarterback play, and what separates a lot of teams is what we see out of the quarterback. Well, Justin Herbert put the league on notice. He came out and he looked like he was in control. Matter of fact, he did more than look like he was in control. He was in control. He not only played great from start, he finished the game even better. When they needed him to make a play, he wasn't going to allow his team to lose. He wasn't even going to allow or didn't allow for the ball to be put in the possession of Patrick Mahomes. I thought they did a terrific job. And then when you look at why we question this team, man, Slater's out. Protection issues might be a problem. Nope, we got a guy that played tackle in college. Let's move him over to left tackle and Joe Alt, and no issues. No issues. And could they have run the ball a little bit better? Probably so, but Kansas City is a good defensive team. But what we saw out of the Chargers, outside of the Week 1 champs in the Green Bay Packers, the showing that we saw with those LA Chargers, they're deserving to be on the line of contenderish.
So here's what I will say. I do think they had the second most, maybe the most, but at least top 2 most impressive Week 1 performances. You know, I think I agree with you there. It is, even though it is Week 1, or the Week 2 tiers, it's not a total blank slate as far as what the committee kind of thought of you going into the year. Correct. And but if we were ranking just best performances of Week 1, they get either the gold or the silver medal. The Packers, going into the year, I took more seriously as a real contender than the Chargers. So they elevated
because of
more.
The history of what we end up seeing.
Well, and also I just think the Packers have a better roster. You know what I mean? I think the Packers have a better overall roster than the Chargers. I think that one of the things that was disappointing for the Chiefs is I don't think the Chargers receivers are that special. I mean, Keenan Allen, anybody could have had him this offseason. Right. Quentin Johnson is still waiting to pop. Obviously, Ladd's good, and those guys were wide open. And so now listen, maybe Keenan Allen hit the Wayback Machine and Johnson took the leap, or maybe that was more an indictment on the Chiefs' secondary performance. But I don't have any real issue with what you said, Greg.
The tiers are good.
Thanks.
I give you props for being fair with the Chiefs. I agree with Greg. I would have chosen the Chargers to move up had he not done it first. But so I'm going to go. The one thing I have an issue with, it's really 2, I guess. Switch the Steelers and the Jags. The Steelers look good. Now, I'm not, I didn't pick them to make the playoffs, but I did think they could win 10 games and maybe just miss it. And they looked very capable of doing that on Sunday against the Jets. Mike Tomlin, we know what the magic is that he works. Now that he's got the best quarterback play since Big Ben was in his prime. I mean, Rodgers was great on Sunday. He doesn't have to be great every weekend, we wouldn't think. All right, so they should move up. And the defense obviously was problematic, but I think all of us think that defense is going to get better. The names on the defense, Cam Hayward obviously wasn't there in the preseason, but the names that are on that defense, Mike Tomlin as a defensive coach, we think they'll get better. The Jags, solid victory as far as the margin, but the Panthers are horrible. And Trevor, 74 passer rating, less than 6 yards per attempt, a pick against that defense. I'm just saying, I want to see more from Trevor Lawrence when you got Brian Thomas Jr., who didn't do much, and you got Travis, Hunter. So I wasn't that impressed with him. It was a solid win. You'll take it, but it wasn't impressive to me. Switch.
All right. It's a couple things. One is a quick reminder for the audience and for the panel. This is not the mountain where in order to move someone up, you must move someone down.
I know.
It's tiers. So we could just have done the Steelers thing. We didn't need to all of a sudden be like the Jags, who from start to finish dominated the Panthers.
You don't make your own schedule.
It was the Panthers.
I understand, but what are you supposed to do against a bad team? Dominate them.
Was Trevor dominant?
Well, hold on. This is, again, now I will remind the audience again.
Remember the executives came in and Witt was like, don't talk about
Trevor's actually pretty
Trevor's
popular.
very high on that. And KW, allow me to respond to him, please, quickly. This is not the mountain. This is not purely about how good your quarterback is.
But you can move a team up and down, right?
No. What I'm saying, but your only criticism of the Jags is Trevor wasn't as good as you would like. You know who was? Travis Etienne. He was so good, they were like, take Bigsby. We don't even need you anymore.
Okay,
get out of here.
Travis is going to rush for 1,500 yards? Is that what we're saying?
Actually, to be fair, right now he's on pace to rush for about 2,500 yards, but I don't think that's going to happen. My point is this.
Travis.
When you play a bad team, you're supposed to dominate them. They did dominate them. Trevor made one mistake, and J.C. Horn made an amazing play on that, or else it would have been a Travis Hunter 75-yard touchdown. Go ahead, KW.
I know you don't have to move people up and down. That being said,
jeez, nobody remembers.
Well,
Greg,
I forgot because we're a little rusty. I'm just going to move the Eagles ahead of the Packers, just because I feel like they deserve. And I know it's not the standings. Do you? Well, kind of. But they've ripped off. They've lost. They're 17-1 since Week 5 of last year.
Certainly not the 2024 tier.
Well, there's an element of momentum. You haven't lost a game with Jalen Hurts since Tampa Bay, and it's almost a year. It's been a long time since you lost a game. Until someone can beat you, I feel like you deserve a spot up. Here's the other thing. No Jalen Carter. We know the defense probably will take a step back, but the Cowboys, and maybe CeeDee would have caught the ball, maybe there was a little bit of nervousness going across the middle. Allowed under 25 points, the most games since the start of 24. Because we're early, you got to have a longer runway here. The Eagles are still there, right next to the Chargers and the Chiefs. Shout out to the Chiefs, then the Packers. And this is not super nice, but I feel like someone's got to say it. And it might as well be me, as the guy who coined the phrase, defense wins championships. Josh Allen, what an amazing performance. Can someone raise their hand and say, kind of weird, your defense gave up 40 points when that is your unfortunate exit strategy out of the playoffs? Allowed 40 points, the most games since the start of last year. The Bills have done it 3 times along with the Panthers and the Cowboys that redid their defense. The Bills allowing these, like, getting gashed every once in a while is just a little red flag. I know it's all parades and balloons in Buffalo this weekend.
Can I say 2 things?
The 40-point thing
One
is
I felt like the Eagles were en route to giving up 40 before the lightning delay. The Cowboys scored every single time they wanted, then lightning delay happened and both offenses ground to a halt. So, like, that part to me is a little weird. The other one is, you know whose defense didn't look bad? The Packers. You did a whole anti-Buffalo thing, but your argument is not that Buffalo should move down. Your argument is that the Eagles should move up.
I'm not moving the Packers.
You're putting the Eagles at the top.
Yeah, but the Packers can stay there.
No, then they're no longer at the top.
But they're not even, they're staying there. I'm not moving the Packers.
But
you're putting the Eagles above them.
Right, you're moving the Eagles above the Packers, and I'm saying your argument about defense being important, you would certainly agree the Packers' defense against your beloved Detroit Lions, who you loved until halftime of the Super Bowl.
Ben Johnson, who knows?
This guy.
Until the Eagles lose, they should be the best.
Can we all just agree the committee is off to a nearly flawless start?
It's a good start for the committee.
Thank you.
Coming up next.
I like the start.
Thanks.
That's good, right? How are the vibes in Pittsburgh? Tight end Pat Freiermuth joins us.
I
might
bet
talk
they're
a little
great.
Penn State, too. I bet
they're great.
Welcome back to First Things First. The Pittsburgh Steelers get the win in New York to kick off Aaron Rodgers' Steelers debut. Rodgers' first pass as a Steeler went to our next guest, Pat Freiermuth. Pat, congrats on the win. He joins us from his car phone.
Car phone?
I had a car phone. I'm surprised you still have that, but I had one. Congrats on the win. How's your chemistry been with Aaron so far this year?
It's been great, man. He's been great. It's been great to get to know him and all his signals and all his alerts to different plays. Definitely challenging, but once we get all on the same page, which we are now, it's been smooth sailing. It's been great.
You guys, haven't had like a top level quarterback since you've been there, and when you guys signed Aaron, a lot of people, including myself, thought, okay, he's 41 years old. He's not what he used to be. I wasn't as excited about it for those reasons. But in that locker room, how were you guys viewing getting a future Hall of Fame quarterback?
I mean, for myself, I was very excited. I was actually over in Ireland with my fiance at the time when, the rumors started, like where we could sign him and stuff. So I started watching Jets film from last year on the train ride to Galway, which she wasn't too happy about. But I was watching it, and I was like, he can still throw the ball, and so I was very excited. And just seeing his release of the football, his throwing mechanic, it's unreal to see in person, and it's been great, man. I was super excited, and he said that I was DMing him a little bit, and he was trying to talk to him about coming, and it was great, man. It was awesome.
You kind of led me perfectly into what I wanted to ask about, which was the way he throws the football. So as a layperson, even someone watched football my whole life, I've never quite understood the guys who players talk about in almost holy terms about, like he just throws a different ball, the way the ball comes out of his hands. And I'm not asking you necessarily to compare him to another specific quarterback, but when you say the way he releases, the way he throws the ball, what is different about that? What makes that special? And how do you as a receiver, how does that impact you? Or as a tight end, but as a pass catcher?
Yeah. Just the flick of his wrist, honestly, like the way he can torque his body to throw different angles and different arm angles. It's insane. I remember the first OTAs practice he was there. He was just doing some spot throws, and he caught me off guard because he was throwing a no-look pass, and I haven't had that in my NFL career yet. That quarterback that can throw a no-look pass right on the chest, and so it hit me, and I was like, oh damn. He's like, you better get used to it, and so just that kind of stuff. It's been super cool.
Without giving away any playbook secrets, you've got you and Jonnu, two tight ends on the team, a lot of different looks. Can you describe some of the advantages of having two great tight ends on the Steelers?
Yeah, I think the coolest thing is Art was telling us, and we can see it on film and stuff, especially with the Jets, is we can dictate, what they can and can't do on defense and schematically, and they kind of limit what they can be in, and it's just great for matchup personnel. I mean, this past week when the Jets were in, dime personnel or base personnel, and it's kind of hard to match up two great tight ends that can win versus man coverage or get open and stuff. So it's been great.
You guys, you usually make the playoffs. We know with Mike Tomlin, you don't have losing seasons. So I would assume every year you guys have high expectations for yourselves. But with Aaron Rodgers in the building, did the expectations rise? And is there a feeling around the team of, hey, this could be a really special year that we haven't had the opportunity to have in a while here?
Yeah, I don't think, expectations, rose. I think every single year we go in, especially being, we always talk about being a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think the expectation is always to, get that Lombardi. And I think, with all the moves they made this offseason, bringing guys in like DK and Jalen and Aaron and New, just, seeing the level of ownership of what they think can help us win and kind of our mindset. It definitely heightened us a little bit, but, we expect to be there every single year and competing for a Lombardi every single year. And so, we're just excited for the opportunity. Obviously, it's just week one, and we got 17 weeks left. And so we got a long season ahead and stuff to improve on for sure.
All right, you're in your fifth year. You're an established pro now, so I feel like you should be comfortable doing this. Give us an awesome Mike Tomlin story that people might not know.
Awesome Mike T story. There's so many. I honestly think just the coolest thing, I'm sure you guys hear this, is kind of lame, but just the coolest thing is just being in his team meetings every single day. Like, he makes you want to run through a wall on like a Wednesday. Like today, for example, it's a Wednesday practice, padded practice, guys could be, not looking forward to it and stuff, but the way he motivates us in the morning, just the sayings he says and challenging guys, calling them out. I think it's awesome to be a part of that because every day you got to show up. You gotta come in, you gotta work.
So I want to just follow up on Mike. How does a coach walk the line that he seems to walk as well from afar as any coach I've ever seen, of you guys really legitimately liking him while also obviously not only respecting him, but having that he is, he's not so buddy to where like guys run all over him. Like how does he successfully walk that line of being seemingly a player's coach while also being a disciplinarian?
I think the coolest thing is I think he's just there's no gray area with him. So every time he says, you can obviously have those conversations from, just a man to man and like one of your boys, but like at the end of the day, he always tells you what he expects and what he needs from you. So if you can do that and you can show up every single day and meet those expectations and form a relationship, he's so good at making sure that every single day you know what you need to do, you know what you need to accomplish in the game plan and in the game. But he also he's there to love you up and motivate you, and I think he does a great job at that.
It's like Dusty, our producer, reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. You don't know him. It was very similar.
Like,
yeah, same haircut.
All right, Pat, DK going back to Seattle. Us in the media were like, oh, this is a big revenge game. How much of that is media creation, and how much does that actually resonate in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think as the locker room just kind of goes as those guys go. Like this past week with Aaron, it was just another week for him, and so he was motivated just it being week one, and I think DK's in the same way. I mean, I don't think he's looking at it like a revenge game. Obviously he still has boys over there in Seattle, but obviously we want to win the game, and I think he would enjoy winning the game as well, just to be able to say we won.
You played 2 years in college at Penn State with Micah Parsons. You guys have the Packers in Week 8 this year. You looking forward to blocking him?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, Mike is an awesome dude. It was fun. We had some battles in college. He always says he can cover me and routes and stuff, but you gotta check the tape on that one. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to go against him, man. Mike is an awesome guy, and I'm super happy for him and his situation where he's able to get paid and go to Green Bay, and just looking forward to seeing him in Week 8.
If you don't mind, I want to ask just another question about Micah, because when you look at like his college numbers, right? So he didn't play just defensive end, linebacker. He opted out of the COVID year. He didn't, he wasn't like a 15 sack, oh my God guy, but he was not only a lock first round pick. A lot of people thought he was going to go top 10. Like he was a freak when he got there and combine all of that. What was it when you guys were in practice or when you first played with him that differentiated him and allows, in your opinion, has allowed him to have the level of success that he's had?
He's unblockable in college. He was unblockable. I think the coolest thing, like we came in the same class, and so getting to know him, he cares a lot, and I just think in practice, like no one could block him. He was just night and day above everyone else, even as a freshman coming in. So. Just seeing the way he works and just seeing the way that he loves the game of football. It was great to be a part of and kind of emulate, process that he did. Kind of emulate my process and getting ready for games and practice and stuff like that. And super happy for him, man. I definitely missed him that COVID year for sure. We definitely could have used him. We started like 0-4 or something like that, so we definitely could have used him in that. But he was a game changer, game wrecker, and we needed a big play. Micah was there making it.
Now, Pat, you played basketball in high school, and your dad was Mr. Basketball in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider just being an NBA star over the NFL?
He's gonna absolutely love that you said that. But no, I was a good basketball player for sure. But I got my first offer from UMass actually, and then I decided to put some 20 pounds on or something like that and play tight end. So once I put the weight on, I changed my role more of a glue guy where I got the offensive rebounds, took charges, set picks. And so I changed my role. So once that started, I quickly pivoted from basketball to football.
Who's the best basketball player on the Steelers?
If it's you, say it.
Nah, it ain't me. It's probably Ben Skronik for sure.
Ben Skronik?
We were out in Malibu working out and stuff like that in the off season, and we went to Aaron's place, Proactive Sports, out in Westlake, I think it's called, and we were shooting some hoops with some guys, and it's pretty good. We're pretty good.
Wow.
Shout out Ben Skronik.
I heard Aaron's good too.
Aaron would
Yeah,
be
he's good. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Good passer, good shooter. Yeah,
Really?
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard Aaron Rodgers. Really
Aaron Rodgers is good at basketball?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That changes my whole take.
I was going to guess. I was
I know
going
he's
to
good
guess
at golf,
DK.
and I know he's good at
I was going to guess
quarterback.
DK's just
No,
such
we
a
saw
freak
DK
athlete.
play, didn't we?
What was he?
Then we saw
DK's
him.
pretty
Yeah,
good,
he
too.
played in the celebrity game, NBA. Yeah,
He was
awesome.
okay.
Yeah, DK's pretty good too.
Okay, wow.
He was playing like Drewski, wasn't he? Playing Drewski? He was. He's like, I don't know. Like icing that. Yeah, DK Metcalf's going to do all right. All right. Thank you, Pat. Best of luck. Seahawks Steelers Sunday at 1 on Fox. Have a healthy and successful year.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Pat.
More
Great
first things
job.
first after the break. Please subscribe to our podcast if you haven't. We tried very hard on it, and I read all the full screens for our audio listeners. And our YouTube channel continues to improve, and there's some unique content up there. I did my big Eagles take, another one. That's where I got all these good stats.
Are you saving takes or debuting takes on the podcast?
Again, even though you're going to be mad at me, the segment that Gianna and I did, it was called 7 Questions About the Eagles-Chiefs game. And I didn't answer them, but I just put some stuff out there. News out of San Francisco. Brock Purdy has a bum shoulder and a hurt toe. Kyle Shanahan says he is a long shot to play on Sunday, and then it followed up, saying he's going to miss multiple weeks. Said yes. Take a listen.
Any further sense about whether Brock will be able to play on Sunday?
I think it's a long shot.
Is it possible that Purdy's injury could be a multi-week thing?
That's possible.
Sorry, he didn't say yes. He said it's possible. He didn't
That's all right.
say yes, but
It's late in breaking, buddy. You can't be totally buttoned up.
well, it could be more than that.
But sorry, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm just trying to pull up the Niners schedule. I think after the Saints is the Cardinals, and then they have a tough stretch.
Cardinals,
Jags at the Rams, at the Bucks, home for the Falcons, at the Texans. Like, to me, all 5 of those teams. All those teams but the Texans, I thought, looked good in week 1, and we think the Texans
could beat them, yeah. They got to beat New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. And it's also really, here. Listen, I know what the audience is expecting me to say. Wow, the line moved from 5.5 to 3. 5.5. So Brock Purdy is officially 2.5 points better than Mac Jones. About what I thought. But
That's significant.
yeah, he's 2.5 points better than Mac Jones. I think that's about right. But what is true is it is now that we know this, that much more important, Brew, that they got that win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they had lost that game and it looked like they were going to lose it, and even after Purdy got the touchdown, it looked like Darnold was he had driven him down, then he fumbled. Like all that more important that they got that win, so they have a little bit of margin if he's going to miss time.
Yeah, look, like I said, they have to beat New Orleans, and even with Mac Jones, I mean, as simple as that. With the injuries they have and then that schedule getting tougher, maybe Purdy might not even be back for Arizona. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
he's got to get back soon. And I'm not trying to say he's a top-tier quarterback, but without him, unless Mac Jones, I can't say turn back the clock.
No.
Although he was a Pro Bowler.
No.
He led a team to the playoffs.
It's a good question. He was a national champion. And the Alabama offense did put up, I believe, 60 points in the Superdome last time he was there.
Most guys
Ole
in the
Miss.
NFL were great in college.
What, did they set the
fair to
completion
say?
record? Because they got all those guys.
I mean, this is going to I know you were down on Christian McCaffrey in week 1. He did have like 160 yards. You know what I mean? Because he had 80 yards receiving and close to 80 yards rushing. This is going to be a Christian McCaffrey game. And that makes me nervous too, Wilds, because he was dealt with the calf. He got 31.
But they ran,
that's what I'm saying. He had 31
they must
touches.
think he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Kyle Shanahan's like, it's not like you'd get hurt too.
There's all that scuttlebutt about Trey Lance in that draft class. I was like, are you sure they wanted Trey Lance? Are you sure they didn't want somebody else?
As Nick would say, finish the thought.
Yeah.
What is Mac Jones like? Is something?
What's on the board that Mac Jones does well this game?
Yeah.
And the next game. And the game after that. And then, who knows what's going to happen? I can't see into the future.
Well, one guy's just got a 200 some odd
KW.
million
Yeah, there's no
contract. There's no controversy.
Well, Drew Bledsoe had a big contract too, my friend.
See?
He was the highest paid player in the league.
So now I think you're right now in this
I'm
moment.
glad you finished the thought.
Comparing Mac Jones to Tom Brady?
No, he just said that's never happened
that's
before
not
in the history
new.
of the NFL.
Yeah, right. Exactly
that was his
right,
whole
bro.
thing, baby.
Exactly
Go.
right.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting you mentioned that. I love the rest of it. Live from New York. It's the show that is cautiously optimistic about Mac Jones.
No, hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on. You cannot do that, bro.
Why?
Because the show is not.
What did I say?
Leader of the show.
You said that he is the leader of the show, but he's not the entirety of the show. Brew.
But am I allowed to
This
say
is
like?
the problem.
I'm not going to say I'm optimistic. Look, I could see him going out there and having a couple.
But that's nothing.
Danny, cautiously optimistic.
I mean, you could beat the Saints.
Okay.
You think he's resurrected his career?
Jesus,
That's the
guys. You
difference.
guys
You
missed
think
the
he's
point.
resurrected his
He
career?
didn't clear it with any of us. My point is this. Is he allowed to say the first things first, the show that
Yes.
if he's the only person that believes it?
Well,
I don't know. We just did it. And how many people have to
You're
ask?
optimistic about Mac Jones?
Cautiously.
No, I mean,
Cautiously?
No.
I think it's
Cautiously.
possible he
Thank
goes
you.
out there and plays well.
Third hour, first things first.
Majority
Also,
rules.
I'm allowed to say that.
See, I knew it. See, that's what I was trying to get us to.
Meanwhile, stats that will change your mind in a new segment called Pack Stats, a.k.a. Case Closed.
Wow.
Can't change the name of the segment
closed.
until it.
He reads it and then bangs the.
I have horrible news.
What?
I don't like the term Pack Stats. I just don't. It seems Packers oriented.
It's
It
not.
doesn't have the briefcase. So I put into ChatGPT, can you give me a better idea?
Yeah.
And one of them was Case Closed. I said, oh, shoot, these robots are right.
Pretty good. The problem is I open up the
And then after you deliver it, bang, slam it shut.
Case closed.
All right. Yeah, he nailed
It does
Sorry.
work.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
I
you
didn't
got
do
it. It was the
Sorry.
robots.
It's time
Not
now
just
for case
housework,
closed.
bro.
All right, you know what?
Brew,
No,
you
like
called
that.
it.
It's really good at
I do
TV.
like
it's not
that.
suitcase stats like you had yesterday. That was a wild idea.
Suitcase stats.
Case closed is a chat GPT.
Case Closed.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
good.
not bad.
We're counting down the days to the Super Bowl rematch. We will be in Kansas City on Friday from the Power and Light District. Come on by. Patrick Mahomes spoke today about how he can be better against the Eagles. Take a listen.
They had a great game plan. They played hard and did a great job of disrupting my timing. And so I have to learn from that, find ways to get the ball out of my hand. And then when the opportunities are there, I think that's something I did miss early in the game is there was opportunities to make plays. And you got to make those plays because if you don't, they're not going to allow those opportunities again.
Because here's a wild stat. Super Bowl loser seems extreme. People who lost the Super Bowl. In a rematch the next regular season, everybody loses except when the Eagles went into Arrowhead and won.
So everybody loses except when it's Chiefs Eagles. Sounds good to me.
I mean,
That's what
That's
you
a good way. That's the last
I mean,
30 years.
that's what you're showing me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Odd, right? That's like a classic Super Bowl hangover.
It also
stat.
is an interesting thing that this used to be incredibly rare that we got it, and now we've gotten it 3 straight years.
Yeah,
We got 4 times in the 27 years before.
No offense to the 90s schedule makers. Penciled that sucker in.
What were they thinking?
Super Bowl rematch. What would
TV.
an 0-2 start mean for the Chiefs?
Not much.
Oh.
Not much because of who they're playing. Because it wouldn't be 0-2 like, and I'm not picking on Cincinnati, with Cincinnati's opening schedule. Or, you know, the Chargers are a team that I know some smart people like you really believed in. I think everybody thought would be good. Nobody was like, Chargers are going to be a 4-win team. They played great. And everybody thinks the Eagles are, you know, somewhere from very good to excellent on that scale. And this is, as Brew was saying about the Niners yesterday potentially, this is not an excuse, but a potential explanation of the Chiefs being without their top 2 receivers, depending on how the game looks, would be another reason that you would not panic about it. And this is the part that I think, while they've never started 0-2 with Mahomes, they have had bad starts. And I think that's the point I was trying to make earlier, which is 2021, they started 3-4, and 2 of those games were the only 2 regular season blowouts of Mahomes' entire career were within that 3-4 start, and one of them was to Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. The other one was Josh Allen, and then they rallied. With that, so I don't think it would mean anything huge about the season as a whole. What it would mean is for the first time since that year, they don't have a mid-season margin of error. You know what I mean? That they have to be able to lock in a way before Rasheed gets back. You know what I mean? Maybe without Xavier Worthy, and that Ravens-Lions portion of the schedule becomes a little more ominous.
I agree with you. I would not think they're not going to make the playoffs if they start 0-2. And that's, a big deal because most teams that start 0-2, the overwhelming majority don't make the playoffs. And most teams in the league right now that start 0-2 will be written off. Not the Ravens, not the Chiefs, some of these other teams. Where I do think it would have significance, Nick, is that I think the mystique already has taken a shot by the way the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl, obviously what the Chargers just did. If Philly beats them again, it's be the first time Mahomes has ever lost 3 straight games in his career. And then when in all 3 losses, obviously the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. All 3 of those games, the Chiefs are hyped for, and they still can't, get it together and win the game. I think this Chiefs mystique, which I think is real. I think it's definitely been real for the Ravens. I think it's real to some degree for the Bills and everybody else except maybe Cincinnati and the Eagles. I think that would be largely gone, if not totally gone, if they lose this game. And I think that would be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm more with you. It would be a blood in the water type situation. They wouldn't be done. I think the Chiefs are going to be contenders for the next 10 years with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But Mahomes has never lost 3 straight in his career. That would be something. It would be the first time ever. Last year, all of the close games, all of the weird results, we talk about it in the media as the Chiefs just have the will of a champion and they know how to win and all that.
That's all correct, by the way.
I know, but I think that the players who play in those games that lose when the ball gets doinked off of an upright, they look at the film after the game and they're like, we were a play or 2 away from beating the Chiefs. I don't think that the players themselves that lost those 1-score games, they look at it as, we almost beat the champs. We almost beat the Chiefs. And so you combine all of it with 3 straight losses, a blowout in the Super Bowl, the fact that they do have a suspension. And I've heard you mention the 3 and 4 thing. And it's interesting, after that Super Bowl loss. We can bring up the schedule here. Just play it out. They play a lot of tough games. So if they start 0-2, let's say they beat the Giants 1-2, they could beat the Ravens, obviously. But the margin for error, as you put it, make them 3 and 4 just for the exercise.
Make them 4 and 5 going into the bye. They're still fine. Again,
man, I don't see. That's where.
What's the worst record you think they could have to make the playoffs?
Well, can I phrase it a little differently? I think 10 wins get you in. I think you might get in with 9, but I think 10 wins is in an expanded field. I don't think 10 wins is missing.
I agree.
And so, hold on. I was going to say something else, but KW has a Cheshire cat grin look on his face. Go ahead.
I don't want to say it.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, but now you have to.
Buddy,
you have to.
You and I.
I don't want to say it. You're going to be so mad at me.
I'm not going to be mad at you.
I guarantee you, I bet you $100,000 you're going to be mad at me.
Deal.
Ooh. Wow.
You know how they call you Mr. Consistency?
I do.
You know how they call me the mayor of fair? I didn't like all this Chiefs talk. Chiefs are done talk. The way that Brew was going and the way that Danny was going, and it's what's their worst record? It started to sound like fodder for one of those Chiefs mixtapes that comes up on social media. And that gets my antennas up. This might be a trap game for the Eagles. I told you you wouldn't like it. I was so confident in the Eagles. Then I told you I don't like it. I'm the Jalen Hurts guy, but I started to get nervous. My antennas started to go crazy. I told you to do that. You had $100,000. Yeah.
I have to wire Wiles $100,000.
I don't like that at all.
I was so prepared to not be angry at your. I was so mentally prepared.
You thought it was going to be Jalen Hurts going to do this and that.
For you to just say some anti-Chiefs thing. That when you can't, instead.
I told you.
The guy who makes $1 online sports wagers and cashes them out. This guy hedging his Eagles take
I'm not
again.
hedging it. I'm not hedging
yes,
it.
I'm
Starting to feel
furious.
like a trap game.
You're right. I'm furious. I'll pay you slowly over the next 5 months. I owe you $100,000 because
It's starting to feel like a trap
this
game.
This guy, I'm gonna stab him in the heart. The fact that he is
social
trying
media
to do this.
person is like, oh, word. All right, then Parkins said this, and I just don't want to be on it. I could feel it. I didn't like that at all.
You're going to be all over it no matter what. That's first of all.
I still am the Jalen Hurts guy, but this is, at this point, the pendulum has swung too far.
Nope.
They're going to miss the playoffs, all this stuff.
I don't think this is the playoffs.
I'm not saying
I was just in the playoffs, but if you lose this
You're like,
game,
oh, lose to the Giants, Abdul Carter. I'm like, slow down, Parkins.
I didn't say that.
Hold on. Can I say one thing in all seriousness? And do I really owe you $100,000?
No.
Okay.
He'll let you cash out for 75.
Danny, last year his son picked every single Week 1 Sunday game, and he was 11-0 and made him cash out, and he hit them all. But regardless, this is the. I just want to say one thing about Mystique. I will agree with you guys entirely that if the Eagles win this game, if we get a Super Bowl rematch, for the first time in Mahomes' career, the opposing team has the mental edge. You know, I will agree with that specific rematch, maybe I shouldn't say his career, maybe Brady at the very beginning, but for the whole time since we've been, you know what I mean, in this era, I will agree with that. The mystique, the Chiefs' mystique really, to me, only matters against one and kind of two teams, and it only matters in the playoffs. And it's the Bills and, to a lesser degree, the Ravens come the playoffs. And nothing can happen, in my opinion, in the regular season that if those two teams meet in January, if it's Chiefs-Bills in January, there is nothing that is going to make the Bills feel like they have the mental edge here. You know what I mean? That mystique will, even if they limp into the playoffs.
Maybe not I think that's fair. Maybe not the mental edge, but if the Chiefs are, and I'm not predicting this, but they're 11-6. They haven't looked good. They get in the playoffs as a wild card. I think the Ravens and the Bills, say they have great seasons, are certainly not feeling like they felt last year and the year before.
But the year before, it was exactly what it was.
But
they
the
were
Chiefs
11
were
and
still
6.
the Chiefs.
Yeah, but the Chiefs were the year before. The Chiefs were 11 and 6. They did go to Buffalo. They did have to go to Baltimore. That was the team.
But they were
that
still
lost.
the defending Super Bowl.
They were the defending champs, and
that's a significant difference.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know how much defending Super Bowl champs means in the AFC playoffs, when instead of being the one-time defending Super Bowl champs, you would be going to the playoffs as the three-time defending AFC.
With all of the playoff wins, sure.
Can I ask you a question about this game specifically? And there's a lot of, watching the Chiefs documentary, The Kingdom, about the Super Bowl, where Mahomes, as the leader of the team, thought they were in it when I think a lot of the fans felt like, ooh, this is getting away from him. But he still was like, let's go, and he's done it so many times. Do you think there's a chance? But then afterwards, he was pressing, trying to make something happen. When he ran into, I forgot the name of the Chargers guy that he bullied, he's like, I'm trying to make something happen. I was trying to get people fired up. And he's like, he never does that, like really crush a guy in maybe playoff games. Is there a chance that if the Chiefs fall down, that we could see a version of Mahomes where he's pressing and he kind of gets out of his normal Mahomesian self?
Yes.
I don't think that's good.
No, I agree. But you're asking, is there a chance?
As a guy who's rooting for the Eagles.
This guy
but I don't know. I'm all torn.
Yeah, I thought he kind of did that in the Chargers game, and I thought he was great in that.
Mahomes was awesome in that game.
I mean, that's what I thought. It's been a little controversial in some quarters. I thought Mahomes was really, really good Friday night. But I agree with you, Brew. He was pressing. And pressing, here's the thing. It's weird, and I know we got to move on. Because we talked about it earlier, he's been blown out 4 times in his career, lost by more than one score 6 times in his career. He's not afraid of being blown out. If it is going the wrong way, he is going to open the variance up and be like, all right, this could go really bad, and it did in the Super Bowl. But that's why he's the best come-from-behind quarterback ever. That's why his record, when they're down double digits, is a playoff. You know what I mean? They win 60% of the games because he gives them that chance.
Okay. Underwhelming game 1 for Saquon Barkley. Here's Nick Bolton of the Chiefs talking about Kansas City's defense. Take a listen.
Tackling, obviously. I think we had 10 missed tackles, so as we keep progressing every week, we want to kind of knock that number down a little bit. Pass defense, rush and pass, defense working together a little bit. I think run defense is pretty good, but obviously we got a lot of things we can clean up.
Danny, are you buying that the Chiefs can stop Saquon?
Sure. I mean, they did it in the Super Bowl. 25 carries, 57 yards, longest rushing attempt, I think it was 10 yards in that game. It's kind of amazing that Steve Spagnuolo is still there.
Well, nobody will ever hire him to be a head coach again. It's very lucky.
It's an unbelievably underrated, lucky component of this Chiefs thing that, like, Andy Reid gets to coach the offense and a top 3 defensive coordinator in football for a defense that last year, if you remove Week 18 when they didn't play anybody and they got the Denver game, they were the second-ranked scoring defense in the NFL, and the year before they were the second-ranked scoring defense in the NFL. Like, it's coincided with Mahomes' not great statistical production. They've been consistently a great defense, and their defensive coordinator will never leave. So if he sets this, like, hey, we're going to take away what you do best, the old Belichick thing, well, they're going to take away Saquon Barkley. I think it's definitely in play that Saquon has a bad game again.
Totally in play. The thing is, and they shut down the Chargers run game. You know, they got past them, but they shut down the run game.
I think they didn't believe Harbaugh would pass as they didn't believe they'd listen to you, and they were all in on stopping the Chargers run game. They did, and they got shredded. But
the thing is, what I don't think they can do is stop both the run game and a big passing game. That's what happened in the Super Bowl. Jalen has a great game, Saquon doesn't. So I think they can take away Saquon. I don't know. Can they take away the pass game? Maybe. I don't think they can take away both.
Go, Cato.
I'm just wondering I'm sure they can because we've seen it. Now, granted, that led to 30 some odd offensive points in the Super Bowl, so I don't know if it's the best strategy. And I think that you have to weigh in, which I think is very interesting for Spags, and you tell me, he's a great schematic guy. And what I think takes the defensive coordinators from good to great or great to legendary like Belichick was, I also know what you want to do emotionally. And this A.J. Brown factor, 1 catch for 8 yards in the fourth quarter, it feels like they're going to want to feed him the ball. Now, does Spags let that happen? Like, okay, overfeed A.J., we're going to take away Saquon, or cover A.J. like crazy and see what happens to that sideline?
Listen, I think, and maybe this will be a mistake. It ended up, obviously everything went wrong in the Super Bowl, so maybe I don't know if there was that day a defensive game plan that would have changed that game. Mm-hmm. That to me was more about the Eagles' defense against the Chiefs' offense that got everything awry. I think they're going to have, for the 3rd straight game, a very similar defensive game plan, which is if the quarterback's going to drop back and throw it a bunch, we're going to make him beat us. Okay. And I'm not, again, it's not an insult. Right, it's not an insult Jalen Hurts because they literally just had Justin Herbert do it. I just think that is going to be the process. My biggest concern in this game for the Chiefs defense is that Jalen Hurts in week 1 had, by a large margin, the longest time to throw of any quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. People have seen that little chart floating around Twitter where it's short passes and a ton of time to throw. What I'm worried about is the Chiefs not being able to generate pressure on Jalen looking and being like, I could try to force it in there, not going to, and he gets out and runs. You know what I mean? And that he has, I know that sounds recency bias because he just did something like that against Dallas.
A great running game.
But I think that he could have, that's where I think the Eagles could do real damage. I don't think they're going to give A.J. Brown 15 targets. I do think Jalen Hurts might have 12 quarterback runs.
Really?
And that to me is, that raises my blood pressure a bit.
Brew, as the wide receiver on the panel, Greg not here.
You ain't lying.
How many targets do you think A.J. Brown is going to get? Or should get? How about that?
I'm going to say going to get 7. Okay. I think the Eagles play to win. And, I mean, he's going to get more than 1 for sure.
You should get more than 1.
Yeah.
Well, why are you seem like concerned, I guess, about the Chiefs' defense.
Yeah.
When the body of work for them over the last 2 years suggests that the defense has been arguably what's carried your team.
Yeah, I patently reject the idea that last year the defense was the best part of the team. 2 years ago,
Mahomes is always the best part.
Right, 2 years ago, I believe when the Chiefs won the year they beat the Niners in the Super Bowl, that team's defense was awesome. I was saying all year how awesome it was. Last year, I think that the Chiefs were in such low possession games because they were a 12-play offense and they were forcing other teams to be a similar ball control offense, that the points per game stat is less instructive than a points per drive stat. And I think that the Chiefs' pass defense last year was the inability to generate pressure on the quarterback without either Spags dialing up something awesome or Chris Jones being like, I got it. And I think Chris knew it at the end, which is why he freestyled on that play. Like, listen, we're not going to be able to get home. We haven't been able to cover. I need to generate a quick pressure like I did on Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl, force the overthrow, like I did on Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game that year to force the bad throw. He tried to be a hero, and the reason I didn't kill him for it is because he's won us a ton of playoff games being a hero, and he was trying to do that. So I just think that right now, they have real questions on getting to the quarterback. And when you marry that with, I think, a secondary that right now is a work in progress, that concerns me. That legit concerns me.
Since the 17-game season, 30 teams started 0-2. Only 5 made the playoffs. 3 last year. But being up.
But most teams that start 0-2
aren't
stink.
that good.
Yes.
Right.
That's the thing is,
excuse the number.
Most of those teams are
coming up next. Packed stats.
Case closed.
Case closed. There will be silver briefcases with light bulbs in them. Next.
All right, time now for Packed Stats. We're making stats cool again. I'm Danny Parkins with Greg Jennings and my man Jeff Schwartz. What up, Jeff?
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Known this guy for a long time, back in the Kansas City days. Pre-Mahomes.
Pre-Mahomes.
Pre-Mahomes. 10 wins and a playoff loss. That's when we got to know each other. But here's what we do. I never leave home without my stats.
Okay.
It's very cool. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm seeing the NFL. Oh, stat number 1. My lights, yes, thank you.
I was going to say lights.
I'm sorry, Greg, I'm still learning. The first stat, 507, 507. That is the number of touchdown passes that Aaron Rodgers has. But the drop bar there is the thing that is most important. He's going to pass Brett Favre this weekend. How about that? Aaron Rodgers' career 2 away from passing Brett Favre. I feel like this is going to be the story of the weekend. People have not realized it. He had 4 in week 1. This was something that maybe in people's brains they thought was not going to happen until week 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm curious. You've caught passes. Like, what do you think about Aaron passing Brett?
This is a great accomplishment. Obviously, it speaks to his durability and his longevity of his career. But I know we're stuck on the 507 and him getting the 509 passing Brett, which is going to be great.
And that's just it's
but the
cool.
Thing that's
it's cool.
The thing that's probably most impressive about Aaron in this stat and what he would say is the interceptions. When you pass
he loves that his interceptions are way lower. He loves that. That's true.
He's only thrown, like 115, 116 interceptions in like 50 less games than Brett, and he's doing it a lot quicker. So it's impressive for sure.
He takes like a little shot at Brett then.
100%.
Absolutely. He'll make sure to take that shot.
Yeah.
Better player, Aaron Rodgers. Are we in a universal agreement there than Favre?
He's definitely a better quarterback than Brett Favre is in terms of efficiency and all the things. I have my take on this. Like if I'm playing, give me Brett because he's gonna give me more opportunities to make plays because of the risks.
Okay.
If I'm coaching, I want that guy to take the field. Aaron Rodgers.
Who you want to block for?
Aaron Rodgers, more mobile, moves around.
Yeah.
He sets up his linemen pretty well too.
He does.
Like they had a good little thing going there where they worked on a lot of cool things based off of what he wanted with the protection scheme.
That season when he had 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, I think it's probably the best quarterback season I've ever seen. It was ridiculous. All right, give me my lights. Making stats cool. Thank you. Yeah, again, I'm learning. Number 2. 3.8%. follow me here on a journey. Bears and Lions both lost week 1 to division opponents. They play each other in week 2. So the loser of this game will start the season 0-2 with 2 division losses. That has happened to 52 teams since the merger. Only 2 of those 52 teams have ever come back and won the division. Oh, these were very popular picks to win the NFC North. I picked the Lions. Many people picked my Chicago Bears. The loser of this game has less than a 4% chance of winning the NFC North. Would you look at this game then as a must-win?
For the Lions, yes. I'm not sure for the Bears, but for the Lions, absolutely. With your expectations as high as they are this year and how poorly they played up to expectation week 1, absolutely. I think players, Greg, I knew this number. Like, I knew 0-2 was bad.
We all knew this number.
Coaches aren't big in, I think, sharing all the trends that happen in the NFL. But every coach I play with, when you start 0-1, you know the 0-2 trend. They tell you, not for division, but like 0-2, you make the playoffs only 16% of the time. You start 2-0, you make it 85% of the time. So players in that building, no, I think for the Lions, it's not about really that they lost. It's how they lost. They lost with the offensive line not playing as well as they have in the past. They lost with the offensive creativity not being there without Ben Johnson. They lost defensively, kind of got pushed around a little bit. So to me, it's how they lost, and then going and playing a Bears team now that is kind of wounded after Monday night. It's a must-win for the Lions.
Yeah, and with the Lions, we all talked about them winning this division. Yes, however, they can still win the division. With this group of guys, we still believe that they are more susceptible to turning it around quicker than the Bears. And so,
really? Why?
Well, because they're
they historically have been good for the last few years. Yeah, that makes sense.
To Jeff's point, stylistically, it needs to look different because we saw a version of the Lions that we hadn't seen since pre-Dan Campbell, and that's not the brand of football that they want to display and have out there.
So let me ask you this. Dan Campbell came out and said it's a must-win, which playing the must-win card in week 2, like you get, I was like, ooh. Like, how do you come back? Like, say the Bears win. Bears can win. They're a 4-point underdog, whatever it is. Like, Bears win this game, and your head coach said it's a must-win, and you lose, and you've already played the must-win card. Like, how does Dan Campbell bounce back from that if the Lions lose?
You continue to battle every week, but the players know it's uphill climb even more now. I mean, game 3 becomes, I started 0-2 a couple times. Game 3, like the importance of game 3 ramped up even more now. Players know it's a must-win too because of the situation.
Yeah, and if our coach says it's a must-win, we don't think about what you just brought up. We're not thinking, if we lose. No, that's not enough.
No, but I'm saying if they do.
I understand.
What does Dan Campbell, what card does he have to play for the meeting ahead of week 3?
It's exactly what Jeff is saying. We know it's still week to week. Like all those numbers,
you guys have
all those odds, of course, they have to be even on even more so if we do start in this 0-2 hole.
Highlights, please. The third pack stat. Case closed, pack stats, I don't know. Number 3, here we go. About my division champ in the AFC South. 11.6. That is the average number of wins that a team finishes with.
I like it.
If you start how the Indianapolis Colts started in week 1. Now go on a journey with me. If you have over 30 points and gain over 400 yards of offense and blow out your opponent by 20
Danny
or
Dimes,
more,
let's go!
Like Greg's guy Danny Dimes did. This has happened to 11 teams in the last 15 years. You got Super Bowl champions all over this list. You have every team has finished with a winning record. It's a very impressive list. I feel very vindicated about my Colts AFC South pick based on that week 1 performance, Greg Jennings.
Look, man, there's a lot of stats that I just...
Look at these teams.
What is this?
Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl champion. You know the only team on that list who missed the playoffs? The Bears. Still one thing. Still one. I mean, because they lost every which way.
Is it a shock?
I know, but seriously, that was an impressive performance.
Look, it was a very impressive performance. This is a team that no one really had on their radar to perform this way. Let alone the quarterback just individually perform this way in Daniel Jones. And so I think if you're the Colts and you're in that locker room, you have something that you want to hang your hat on. Look, we can actually contend. We can actually put together a good 4 quarters of football. Don't care who our opponent is, but this guy gives them a chance to win, whether we like him or not. And I happen to like him.
That list of teams I don't think played the 2025 Miami Dolphins either.
Fair enough.
Might be one of the worst teams we're going to see this season.
Soft opponent.
But look, in week 1, I thought the Colts would win, not by this margin, but I think that was the best of Jones, right? He's had 2 weeks to prepare.
Yes.
You don't know what you're getting from him in a Shane Steichen offense. You have an idea, probably a lot of RPOs, play action, things like that. We know the limitations Jones has. It's not going to get better as teams figure out what they're going to do offensively. We've seen years and years of him now. Why all of a sudden is he going to be something else he hasn't been?
We saw years and years of Baker. We saw years and years of Geno. We saw these other guys too, and it got better.
Well, I'll also say this: if you're right about the Dolphins, I think that they might fold up shop early this year, right? The Broncos won't. Like, the Broncos were a playoff team last year, and I know there was like a weird week 1 game where that game was close against Tennessee, but the Broncos should have a top 5, about top 10 defense in the NFL. If the Colts play the Broncos in week 2 and their offense moves the ball and looks good, I think that is when everyone is going to realize and start to take this Colts team seriously. And I don't think the Colts are some sort of contender, but they're a well-run organization. They're a well-coached team. If you can win 8 games, 9 games with Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew, which is what they've done. Like,
yes.
That's the last 2 years for the Colts.
Those are facts.
People talk about them like they're a 4-win franchise because they don't have that quarterback that everyone likes. They've been right there at the playing meaningful week 16, week 17, week 18 games the last couple of years.
I will reassess my opinion on Daniel Jones after this game. I feel like Denver's coming in, as you mentioned.
That's fair.
Top defense, off a sluggish performance against Tennessee, where they didn't play terribly well. The Titans dropped a ton of passes. If they play well again this week with 1 week of film on them, I'll readjust my take on the Colts.
All right. We got the Broncos. Those are our pack stats. Never leave home without your stats. Coming up, though, I was on it again with Justin Herbert and the Chargers. But now they're removed from that game on Friday and being underrated, overlooked. It's very disrespectful. It's next on FTF. Huge NFC North matchup this week. The 0-1 Bears against the 0-1 Lions. 1 Eastern on Fox. Coming off a rough loss to the Packers, Dan Campbell was asked about a matchup with a ton of storylines. Ben Johnson, of course, the coach of the Bears. He said, we're going in, getting ready to play Chicago. We're going to win this game. We have to. Now let's check out how each quarterback fared in week 1. Pretty similar. Nothing jumps off the page there between Jared Goff, who was an MVP candidate last year, and Caleb Williams, maybe the most maligned quarterback in the NFL at this point. So the question is, what are the chances that Caleb Williams can go into Detroit and outplay Jared Goff? And allow me to answer the question that I have just asked, which is, everybody tuned in last year and watched Thanksgiving. Okay, hold on a second. This is a fairly relevant data point, given that it was in Detroit last year, same 2 quarterbacks. And Caleb Williams objectively outplayed Jared Goff. We can look at the numbers. Listen, if you throw for more yards and you rush for more yards and you have more touchdowns and you lose the game by 3 as a nearly 10-point underdog, you played pretty well. And I don't know if you guys remember how that game ended, but we can show it to you.
Yeah, we do. I remember.
We do.
I remember.
Caleb Williams takes a sack. There's 36 seconds left on the clock. See that little dash under the C there on the CH after Chicago? That means timeout. So when he gets sacked with 32 seconds left, I don't know. If I was the coach, I'd call a timeout to run a play to get back into field goal range because they're 4 yards away. But you know where they snapped the ball? With 6 seconds left. They ran one more play. If Caleb Williams had a coach who was awake, they put that game into overtime if Cairo Santos makes the kick, and then he could win, which is a huge question, and he could win that game. So, like, chances Caleb outplays Goff, I think, to the lay person, like on the surface, like, well, that's ridiculous. Goff is much better. Caleb can outplay Jared Goff in this game.
If Caleb can play better when the script is not what is written before the game, right? We saw in game 1 where the on-script plays were great. It's a theme of college football as well. Like the first 15 for a lot of teams in game 1, like great. Like North Carolina comes out, scores first drive. You're like, sweet, Belichick's in. They don't score the rest of the game. Bears, right? Come out like bing, bang, boom, touchdown, field goal, and then it just like went down from there. So in game 2 of year 1 with Ben Johnson, do we see a gradual step in Caleb Williams' play on the non-scripted plays? There were guys open. We're talking about all broadcasts. We saw all 22 of these guys open. If he makes a few more of those plays, not a lot, a few more of those, he can outplay Goff.
Yeah, so he's more athletic. His ceiling is higher. All those things are true. What I am not yet ready to give Caleb until I see it is he can be more consistent right now. And so with that, I'm going to, no. He's not going to outplay Goff. Chances Caleb outplays Goff are very low because when I watch Caleb, he's great off schedule. He's most comfortable off schedule, getting outside the pocket and making miraculous throws. But if you force him to play within the pocket and be on time and on schedule, I don't know if he can do it yet. And I'm not saying he won't be able to do it as he progresses throughout his career, but right now, as we've watched what we've been able to watch, he hasn't done it at a high clip, and he doesn't do it well enough for me to say he's going to outplay a guy that I believe the offensive line will be better, and he will have time. They'll probably establish the run, and he'll look even better in Jared Goff.
I wonder if they start moving him out the pocket a little bit more.
They
I
should.
was surprised in game
They
one.
should.
The game plan looked like Johnson. Look, we know you've been new offense, I've been new offense. It takes 2 months, to really get
2
going.
months.
About 2 months, yeah. It takes 8 to 9 games to really feel good about what you're doing. And so I think in game one, we saw Ben Johnson try a ton of stuff. And as he gets more comfortable with Caleb Williams, he'll try stuff that works, as more of it works. And I think we'll see him move out of the pocket a little bit more. To your point, he's better sort of on the run at times, very accurate thrower.
I'll just say this. Ben Johnson has been thinking about this game. I mean, he said it when he was with us, Greg. He's been thinking about this game since he got the job. We were like, does he have something in your back pocket for when you play your old team? He was like, maybe. And then let's move on. He didn't want to reveal it. So if there's any coach who can get ready for this spot, Detroit loses a defensive coordinator. They lose an offensive coordinator. They lose interior offensive linemen. They're not a great defense. The game's in a dome, obviously, conducive to a good offensive performance. I'm expecting Ben Johnson's best in this game.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that brings out Caleb Williams' best.
And I'll be quick. I'm expecting his best too, but we can't expect these play calls to be so crazy and erratic and, oh my God, did you see this play call?
Yes, we can.
No, it's meat and potatoes. That's the nut and bolts of the game is what it is. And you don't have these erratic play calls every single snap. And I think that's
not every snap, just once for a touchdown. I just want a lineman to catch a touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want a lineman to catch a touchdown. Is that too much to ask? Meanwhile in LA, NFL on Fox presents Rear View with Mark Sanchez. Episode 1 featuring Justin Herbert is available now on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Herbert talked to Mark about Week 1, his outlook on the season. Here's Justin.
Getting back out there after the way things ended last year. You just want to go play football. And I think to be the team that we want to be, we're going to have to play teams like that, the best of the best. And I thought it was a great challenge for us to go out there and execute. And I think where we are this year compared to where we were to start the year last year, I think we're steps ahead. That's correct. I think as long as we keep doing that and keep getting better, I'm really looking forward to this year.
That's a tried and true formula for sure. In the car, that's a great camera shot. I love that. Chances, how do you view, did the Chargers put the league on notice with that performance against the Chiefs?
Of course, absolutely. And no one did more than their quarterback, the guy who was just speaking, Justin Herbert. What he was, and you've loved him from the start. I'll give you credit.
Thank you.
I didn't expect him to perform this way because we've seen him thrive and have success in the passing game. We haven't truly seen him take over a game and close it out himself. And he did all of those things in that game against the Chiefs, where you have across the field a guy that if you give him the ball back, he can do the damage that I can too. And I just felt like sometimes you have those moments as a player where you finally realize I'm just as good as this guy. And you actually believe it. And it starts to show up. He had that moment in that game this past week. And if that's who we're going to see and who they are going to get, that's going to be a scary team.
Think about all the Chiefs-Chargers games, or Chargers games in general with Herbert. They come out of the halftime, they punt, Chiefs score immediately. That big Mahomes drive, he makes all those plays. And then what has happened over the years? The Chargers just crash.
Yep.
Just crash. Instead they went touchdown, run out the clock. That is the change I saw, was a more confident Herbert, a more confident offense. That 3rd and 15 run to win the game took off right away. No, he saw man coverage, I'm gone.
Absolutely.
No hesitation, made the game-winning play. So we just saw a much more confident player. Harbaugh, Greg Roman's offense. I thought, too, the offensive design was a little different than Roman has done in the past, letting Herbert use his arm, letting him be the offense, not really be the running offense. We know Herbert wants to run the ball. They're going to do that. But, like, Herbert, it's your offense now. You be the guy. And he got it done. He did a great job against a team that, over the years, they played close, but they always lose those margins, and they won the margins in this game.
My favorite quote that any coach had this offseason was Jim Harbaugh saying that, like, we have to get up to Justin's level. The coaches, the linemen, the receivers, the defense, everybody. Because, yes, we all know Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball, and they were a great rushing team last year. They weren't a great rushing team in week one. They really weren't. They were the number 1 scoring defense last year, and they did a good job against the Chiefs, obviously. But I felt like they were running a lot last year because they didn't think they were ready to do what they did in week one. It would be crazy to have Justin Herbert as your quarterback and not let him throw the ball. It would just be crazy. And so I think that now, with the running game, with it, yes, obviously the Slater injury is big, but where is the weakness on the Chargers? Like, if they're going to actually let Justin Herbert throw the ball, and they can run and they have a good defense and they have a good coach, what's the weakness of that team? Like, I look at them, they haven't done it for as long, obviously, as Buffalo or Baltimore, but I consider them a contender right now because of their actually putting the ball in Herbert's hands.
That's fair, and you have a coach that understands how to schematically put you in great situations. And I thought their game plan, and you kind of spoke to it, both of you, their game plan with having him be the guy, which we all know he can be that guy, it almost appeared as though it shocked the Chiefs because of their identity coming into the game is, oh, Harbaugh likes to run. So it was almost like they were playing play action and not even having to do play action because they're going to try to stop the run. Justin, go, we'll follow your lead, and he carried them.
On the broadcast, every time Justin Herbert dropped back, they're like, Herbert drops back to pass. They were like, he's like, drops back to pass. I was like, yeah. It's Justin Herbert. It's not a wide receiver playing quarterback. It's not a rookie. Like, this guy has more passing yards to start a career than any player in NFL history. Letting him throw, not a crazy idea. It's not a revolutionary football thought. Let Justin Herbert throw. Win a lot of games. Coming up, oh man, panic time. Is it getting late early? Steal Wild's line for the Niners? Mac Jones alert. Time now for the Prime Performance, sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Discover all the ways you can save. Big news out of San Francisco, out of Brock Purdy's injury. Here's Kyle Shanahan with the update.
Any further sense about whether Brock will be able to play on Sunday?
I think it's a long shot. Is it possible that Purdy's injury could be a multi-week thing?
That's possible. Okay, not a ton of information there, but certainly newsworthy that it's now a long shot. I don't think you want Mac Jones for a lot of time, but I think Mac Jones might be okay against the Saints. What about you?
Well, I mean, as long as Kyle Shanahan is the play caller,
right,
he's going to put him in advantageous situations. And so I trust him in this moment for brief stints.
But the problem is their top-heavy roster that's starting to lose the top again. So Kittle's out.
Oh, yeah.
Jennings, Ayuk's out. You lose one offensive lineman. There ain't any backups behind them. Like, these guys start
pay
piling
Purdy,
up.
lose him,
so,
sure.
like, as long as, for the Saints, maybe week one, but the more you play Mac Jones with less of the top guys, the less the offense is going to be, and you get in this cycle again where you're just not going to be very good.
There's no question about that, but I'm with you. Like, Shanahan seems to me to be the guy that, like, a lot of running backs have production under him.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Garoppolo had success with him. He turned Brock Purdy into a $250 million player. Mac Jones is not going to be great, but whatever his ceiling is, Kyle Shanahan will get it there.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Darnold was there before he got the job with the Vikings. And
well, you guys got some upset alert vibes? You're saying you hope so. You think Saints might be live in this game?
Not now. Not the number 2 days ago, sure, but not now.
Okay, I'm just saying in terms of actually straight up losing the game, right?
I don't think the Niners are losing.
Even with Mac Jones. But that is, if I took out Kyle Shanahan and I put replacement level NFL head coach in the night, seriously, and it was like Mac Jones is being coached by fill in the blank by Todd Bowles against the Saints, you'd be like, oh, the Saints can win that game.
Yeah.
That's a real testament to Kyle Shanahan. It's
really
like, oh yeah,
is.
Mac Jones, yeah, they'll win.
It is.
Yeah, that's no problem. We see you, Kyle. Jeff, Greg, Danny, back tomorrow. FTF.